Welcome into the Ryan Ripken Show. How you doing, everybody? Happy Monday, as always, here. And look, we got a lot to talk about. Jam-packed show. We're going to have a guest joining us, former Raven, former Super Bowl champion. He goes by the Missile. He's going to join us here, talk a little bit about this game in the future. But, yeah, wild one, to say the least, up in Cincinnati. We're going to break that all down. Talk about kind of the rest of the NFL and why Washington, the Commanders, apparently they might have their version of Lamar Jackson. It's going to help them contend. And I'll tell you what, I'm just very grateful that the Ravens aren't the Browns anymore. Yeah. Right? They left, and they left everything in there. And there's a couple people out there that think that that is the worst situation in all of professional sports. We'll sprinkle in some baseball because we love our baseball news and stop traffic. Call-ins are back. We will have call-ins from you all later on in the show, so make sure you guys tune in. We kind of got a full house, not fully, but going from right to left, we got Zach and Kevin in the building. Zach, Kev, how we doing?
Feeling a lot better now than I was, what would that be, last Wednesday? What was the last Orioles game? Last Wednesday? So feeling better than we were then.
Yeah.
You know, vibes are a lot higher in Baltimore sports, in my opinion, at least, since then.
Well, thank goodness, too.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Kev, how we doing?
Still.
Hold on.
Say it with your chest.
Come on, Kevin.
Come on.
Kevin's done.
He's done.
Yeah, he's just gonna have to wait. I'm gonna have to plug him back.
It's okay. Well, you can go back to me. We got Brad behind here for a moment here, so I'll just talk for a second. There you are, Brad. Good kid. Hey guys, so why don't we just dive right into it as we get this all situated, and we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4 up in this
studio.
That was the word. Yeah. You know what I was thinking about? Ludacris. And you know who was at that game? Falcons Bucks on Thursday. Luda. They got a big win, but so did Baltimore, guys. I don't know about you guys. I'm pretty calm when it comes to it. I did not feel well on Sunday. I did not. I didn't feel well for the majority of the game overall. Maybe it was because it felt like the Ravens got off to the exact start that we wanted. Right? You're feeling good. Still felt good until, I don't know, the last 45 seconds of the first half. And then there's that big touchdown. Then the Ravens are down 10. And then you're like, are we really going to lose to the Bengals? And are we going to really have to hear all this nonsense all week? And then they come back, and then they don't. And then it looks like they're going to win in an overtime. Oh, and then the Lamar Jackson fumble. And thank goodness that kicking is unpredictable. And that's why long snappers and holders are just as important as any other position in key situations. And yes. Baltimore now is 3-2 and on top of the AFC North all in due time.
Let's go.
41-38 in the way that everyone imagined. But actually, guys, in our call-ins, Brad, earlier, a lot of people were expecting the high-scoring game. They were talking about the over. We hit the over.
I was expecting a high-scoring game, but I wasn't expecting the Ravens defense to give up that much. I mean, we talked about it about pregame, right? We talked about how the secondary was ranked 25th in the league going into yesterday's game, and now they're almost dead last, if not there. So it's going to be a huge adjustment that the Ravens are going to have to try to figure out as far as that defense is concerned, especially with the game coming up. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But, yeah, definitely was unexpected as far as the score was concerned, but not really, like I said, just the defense just gave up a ton of points.
There was a lot of points given up. Probably too many points that we're comfortable with, guys. And we got a couple of the thoughts, but I think just fair to say, though, Zach, we can breathe a sigh of relief. Just for a moment. Like, I'm not saying you got to be happy with 41-38, but you got to be damn happy with the fact that Baltimore has now won 3 games in a row.
3-2. Atop the AFC North.
They're above 500.
I mean, we sat here and, I just think back to those post-game show, right after that Raiders game, and we're sitting here. The Ravens are 0-2. You look ahead at the schedule, and you're saying the Cowboys, then you got the Bills, then you got Joe Burrow and the Bengals. People are saying there's a possibility 1-4, 0-5 was not out of the cards. So for the Ravens to go out there and win in the fashion that they did, you saw it all. You saw them almost blow the game against Dallas. They held on. They saw a complete team win against the Bills. And then what's the one thing everyone always talks about with Lamar Jackson? It's he can't come back in games. He can't come back in games when you have him in a negative game script. When he has to throw, he's not going to win the ball game. Yesterday, down 10 points with 5 minutes left, Lamar Jackson wins the game.
Yep.
Down 10 points twice.
Yeah.
By the way. And we'll get into a lot of it more moving forward. It's safe to say, though, everyone's going to love this. The Ravens are fine, right? They got to fix things, but the sky's not falling. It's week to week. And just a bit outside, I know you're watching, or Jabbo, as the kids call him as well. He said, hey, it's a week-to-week league. Everyone was crowning the Bills a couple weeks ago, and now they've lost 2 in a row.
Right.
The Steelers now have lost 2 in a row. A lot of things have changed, at least in the AFC. But maybe one thing hasn't changed, and maybe it's just the realization that Lamar Jackson is a really damn good player, and arguably he is the best quarterback right now. We know Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, but Derrick Henry was thinking it, and Nate Burleson. So why don't we play that clip for you guys, and we'll react on the other side.
People throwing it all over the place, and there was no better example of that in the passing game than between these two teams.
Yeah, Derrick Henry said that Lamar's the GOAT and he's the best quarterback in football. Was he lying? I mean, it seems like Lamar can do it all. I mean, he accounted for just over 400 yards. If you're talking about passing, and also his 55 yards rushing. But like you said, Coach, if a team takes away Derrick Henry, and you know how to pivot in a game, and you can hit guys like Zay Flowers and Isaiah Likely, and we're not even mentioning Mark Andrews. He's like an afterthought, but we know he's going to show up when the season starts to progress and even in the playoffs, because that combo is always deadly. I just feel like this team can hit you from every angle, and on top of that, they didn't panic. Like Lamar fumbled that snap, it seemed like the game was over. Defense stepped up, they had another opportunity, and they closed it out.
They did close it out. And honestly, thank goodness McPherson missed the kick after Lamar fumbled, because I'll tell you what, all we would have heard is Lamar fumbles away big opportunities.
Yep.
He was absolutely sensational. And again, take Patrick Mahomes out of it. We know he's not playing well, and we know his pedigree. I don't see how there's any other debate who else you could even think is the top quarterback. Again, Patrick Mahomes out of it. Lamar Jackson right now.
Well, even leading up to this week, Patrick Mahomes is not a good quarterback this year so far. In the last 4 weeks. So I wouldn't even say, like, we're going to talk about careers, fine, but like this year, 2024, Patrick Mahomes is not the best quarterback in the league right now. Not playing like it anyway.
Well, and this we'll go around the horn here, Zach, then Kev. Zach, we've talked about this before coming on. If Lamar Jackson had a Josh Allen-esque performance, I want you to explain that in a second. Josh Allen was, hey, he's Superman. This team's going to win. And now that Bills offense has looked very subpar, very average. Now, granted, Ravens and Texans, we believe that they're good teams. But imagine if that was Josh Allen, or Lamar was Josh Allen in Sunday's game. What were Josh Allen's stats against Houston in a game they lost by 3 points?
Yeah, so Josh Allen finished the game just 9 of 30. I'm trying to get his stats real fast for the entire game for how many yards, but I believe it was only like 150. It was all I'm saying is he only threw for 131 yards, 30% completion percentage, 9 of 30. The discourse around NFL media and just media in general, if Lamar Jackson would ever dare to go 9 of 30 passing and lose a 3-point game, the comments would be the worst thing. It's the worst game we've ever seen. It's get this guy off. He should be on the bench. Like we're talking about Lamar Jackson. I completely agree with Nate. He's not. Derrick Henry's not lying. Lamar Jackson right now is the best quarterback in football. And it's just still crazy to me that other quarterbacks get to have these insanely just horrific games and nothing gets talked about. But the second, if Lamar would have done that, same thing you just talked about, Rip. If McPherson hits that field goal, the entire narrative today is not about what an incredible game it was. It's not about, these guys, two great quarterbacks duking it out. It's Lamar Jackson fumbled away the game again.
Yeah.
I mean, and by the way, game of the year, and especially it's game of the year for Baltimore Ravens fans. And not for Cincy fans maybe, but truly it had everything. And shout out Joe Burrow, Kev, like Burrow balled. And we're going to talk about the defense and what kind of needs to be addressed. But let's talk about the positives here for this offense and Lamar. two or three 10-point deficits in this game. He's just the guy that made things happen. And you know what I love?
Hold on, wait a minute. You mean that a team not named the Ravens blew a two score lead?
Finally,
fourth quarter?
on the other side of that narrative.
Oh, you've been hiding that gem over there for a little bit. It feels good to be on the other side, though, Kevin. Even though it's not maybe the way that people wanted it to be, at the end of the day, Lamar Jackson helped lead the Ravens to another victory. And all of a sudden now you're thinking that Lamar and the Ravens are really at the top or one of the top teams in the AFC yet again.
It's been a while since there've been one of those games where every time an offense touched the ball, I just expected it to be a touchdown. That's how poor the defensive play was and how high level the offensive play was. But the thing that I loved about this is Lamar never felt like he was out of it. This offense never felt. We heard Tyler Linderbaum say the message after the game. He said to the defense during it, he's like, just one stop, and we'll go win this game. And obviously Marlon got the interception. It was huge. They forced overtime and whatnot. But Lamar didn't let this thing spiral, because sometimes in games like that, it can go from 3 to 10 to 17 to 24. If your defense just giving up everything, the offense gets dejected. But it was going from 3 to 10, then back to 3, then up to 10, then back to 3. Lamar never let it get out of hand. And a 10-point lead for an opposing team with Lamar Jackson, I know there's that very outdated and honestly was never true narrative of, oh, well, we even heard it literally today. Chase Daniel said literally today, oh, whoa, the Ravens won a game when Lamar was behind. He won it with his arm. I'm like, I regret to inform you that Lamar's done this before.
Yeah.
They don't talk about it, though.
It doesn't want to be talked about. Who would remember this? Obviously, you can't win games Colts down multiple scores late in the fourth quarter, or like the Vikings game when half the team was injured and the Ravens were 8-3 before Lamar went down and they were the number 1 seed. No one remembers those things, right?
Yeah.
Because he's terrible. He's an awful player. I think the Ravens need to trade him. I think that's where we've gotten to the crossroads. Hopefully it works out for him. And he's only 8-1 against the Cincinnati Bengals now for his career.
Right?
9-1.
9-1.
5-1 versus Burrow.
Okay, maybe we'll keep him.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll keep him there. But hey, if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. We got a whole lot to jump into here. And I think, Kev, we usually do this on Tuesdays. We're switching it up here today. But I guess what are we calling this? Is it Q's with Q, but on Monday?
I like Q-tips. Q-tips with Q.
I like football IQ.
Ooh.
Oh, there's so many different names we can go with this.
Because is Q really giving tips, or is he just giving insight?
Oh, he's giving his tips and insight.
Well, we
both.
could get a Q-tip sponsor on top of it.
But
we already have missile
I like
training.
IQ because the football IQ.
I know
That could just be football IQ with Kadri Ismail.
There it is. It's great. Hey, Kevin, why don't you do the honors? We had our guest in the chambers.
There he is. Behind, we're going to bring him on. It's former Baltimore Ravens wide receiver, Super Bowl champion, Kadri Ismail, coming on to talk football. Q, man, I don't know what the heck we watched yesterday, but we watched the Ravens win. And how were your heart palpitations feeling in that game? It felt like for me, I'm still coming down. I'm honestly not recovered yet.
Bruh, that was as exciting of a game as I have witnessed in quite a long time. It just the back and forth. I mean, the ebbs and flows of a game. Usually when a team is down and momentum is kind of lost, you sit there and you're like, oh boy, I don't know if they're going to get it back, but clearly they did. I thought it was like, okay, here come the Ravens. They're about to just jump up on them. Joe Burrow goes ahead, scores a beautiful touchdown throw, T. Higgins. And then next thing you know, you're thinking, all right, well, now what? Well, of course, Rashod Bateman and them, they come back. It's 14-7. What was really interesting, and I thought the mental turning point, it's when they got a safety.
Yeah.
And I thought that's where, oh boy, here we go. What are the guys going to do? And they didn't flinch. And I think that's saying an awful lot. Defensively, they really struggled. I think just across the board, whether it been the secondary getting sliced and diced, if you got a good, strong rush up front, and they had some pressure, but credit Joe Burrow. I mean, he was just unbelievably poised, his accuracy, all of that. But I just think overall, the mental toughness for the offense to stay within themselves and just go toe-to-toe and battle back was remarkable.
Yeah, it makes you feel good the Ravens walk out of here with a victory, especially just the way it had gone, Q, right? Like that's the whole part of it. We're sitting here, you're going, man, it's a great opportunity. You go on the road, first game of the season as far as facing your division, first divisional matchup. Those even matter more. And this was a gut punch. It might even be worse than a gut punch. That might be a hammer to the stomach for the Bengals because now they are 0-3 at home. The Ravens get that victory. They kind of exercise some demons, and Joe Burrow was sensational. So before we go to some positives, and you can talk about that crazy likely touchdown, because I know I got to hear Q break that down. But can we talk one thing I think we've seen, at least on the defensive side, right before the half? You know, the Bengals go down and score, and it seemed again there was a little miscommunication. I was trying to get the play up with Marlon and help over top, and that allows Ja'Marr Chase, dog, by the way, to get over the top. I feel like, Q, we're 5 weeks through, but the one thing that's hurting the Ravens is somewhat of these blown assignments or miscommunications in the secondary. Is that a fair assessment that we've seen so far?
Yeah, I think coverage-wise, it looked like it was some form of like a cover 4 shell. Typically, the Ravens, they like to play a ton of man-to-man. They'll press you at the line of scrimmage, or they'll play some sort of off-man technique. But, yeah, I thought that with the way the route concepts were, it was a perfect route concept versus that cover 4 look. And it forced really Marlon Humphreys to kind of settle for what he thought was going to be an over route. But then you got Ja'Marr Chase, who is just, the stud of studs when it comes to acceleration and being explosive. I thought where Marcus Williams was kind of caught in no man's land. Here's a guy running right at me. What do I do? And he was just caught in between. I think it would have been great to have that coverage where, Marlon would have been more, hey, let me just play deeper than the deepest and then kind of give a little help and also make the window cloudy for Ja'Marr and for Joe, because I think Joe just was like, man, there's a wide open lane right there. I'm throwing him open. And sure enough, he threw him open, and it was amazing.
It was unbelievable, right? But that's just kind of those gut punch plays. And I believe the Bengals got the ball back with about 40 seconds left before the half ended there, right? So it was a big momentum shift as well as the safety. But then, hey, you know what? You got to keep grinding. You got to keep battling. That's what Baltimore did. So, Q, now let's go to a positive again right here. That likely touchdown, which obviously was the byproduct of Lamar Jackson just being naughty out there on the football field. Sam Hubbard, I'm sorry. I am so sorry. But, Q, I'm going to pull up that play for you so you can see it, and you tell me when to pause it. But I got it right here. Let's add it to the screen. I mean, you tell me what you want to do here, but this was an unbelievable play on all sides for the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, I think first thing first, Lamar is going to tell you he wants to get that ball clean and not, have it fumble. You can go ahead and run it. And, you send Isaiah in motion, pause right there. You relatively have a clean pocket. I thought all day the offensive line did a really good job, minus the safety in the end zone, which I think there was some blocking miscommunication. But Lamar has an opportunity. Okay, let me just pause it and give myself a chance just to go through my progression. Now the ball gets fumbled. Go ahead and play it. And now pause it again. In Ronnie's mind and any offensive lineman's mind, they're like, okay, I'm good. Okay, I got everything. Daniel Lele. Okay, I'm good. Nobody's there. Well, Hubbard is like, I got you. And so here's where the scramble rules start going on, and go ahead and play it again. I just thought he was down. He was down. He wasn't paused. Right here, you're having at the sideline, you're having a receiver come back to Lamar to make himself available. But Isaiah does a great job of, I'm going to go to open space. And we see it so many times. I mean, we're going all the way back to OTAs. This is classic. He's right by the S and Bengals and the right corner of the end zone, and he's going to make his way, go ahead and play it. And just the way in which Lamar sees him, number one, he's getting hit, number two, but then also just the beauty of the way in which he went up and caught the ball. And, of course, Sam Hubbard, I mean, going down to his knees like, I did everything.
Hey, Q, we're going to have the other angle for you so you can show the likely. But, I mean, how demoralizing is that right there? Like, you're just sitting there being like, what else do I have to do to get 8 on the ground? Now I know why people are saying all the things that they're saying about him. There's got to be a phrase, right, for, like, getting Lamar, right? Now it was Smoot on the Jags.
Dwayne Smoot, yep.
Dwayne Smoot, and who was the other guy that was it?
Jadeveon Clowney.
Oh, yeah.
Slammed his helmet.
It's become
you see Myles Garrett and TJ Watt, going up after the play, dapping him up, with respect. Like, it's just play after play after play. It's incredible.
I mean, it's just shirts and pants here. And then Q, because I know you're saying you got to throw him open here, and I'm going to fast forward here just more because you just explained it. But in what world does this seem like it's going to be open? Hold on, let me get to it. Like, we can see right here, right? Likely's in the corner of the end zone. And the anticipation here, I know you're saying trying to find green daylight or, at least in this case, some orange and black daylight in the end zone. But, man, the anticipation here is unbelievable.
Yeah, see, and that's something that, it comes about because you practice and play with Lamar throughout, good God, weeks upon weeks of the offseason. And I'm telling you, very similar plays like this have occurred in practice. And you think, man, Lamar's not going to throw that. Man, Lamar should have been sacked. But this is the why. No, he's not sacked. No, he's not going to be just throwing it away. And, yeah, you as a receiver, you get acclimated to the point where now you see that top of the end zone where Isaiah's like, look, I'm just going to go to, as you said perfectly, black and orange grass and the back of the end zone. I mean, that was just awesome. Now, him going up and high pointing it and snatching out of the air, I mean, that was like, yeah, okay, I'm getting it. Nobody else is. This is going to be easy 6 for me to go ahead and come down with it. I think in my mind, arguably, this is the play of the year so far in this early portion of the season, especially, I mean, from a Ravens perspective, I don't see another play. I mean, the 87-yarder last week against the Bills, maybe if you want to go 1 and 1A, I think, the stakes were that high because they were coming off a game where, they almost gave it away against the Cowboys, all the other drama that was going on being 0-2. So maybe that gained momentum, and that's up there. Don't get me wrong. You can make a strong argument for it. But this one here, when you needed to have it, when you needed to stay within and know that you're battling, and it looked like it was a dead play. And for him to go up and snatch it and score was just remarkable.
Yeah, Q, can you make the argument that the Bengals secondary also gave up on this play because they thought it was dead? I mean, if you look at towards the end of that play, a lot of the secondary, especially as likely as cutting across, you can kind of see that they're just more or less watching Lamar versus watching their assignments or making sure that Likely was covered. Likely makes that move towards the middle of the end zone, middle of the back of the end zone, and they're just kind of standing around. So, like, I think there was definitely like this assumption that the play was over rather than staying disciplined there. It just kind of goes to speak to how the Bengals defense has played all year long, does it not?
Well, yes, and when you look at a defense technically we call it plaster. And I remember going way back in the days of Kadri Ismail playing when Marvin Lewis was my defensive coordinator. They call it plaster then, they call it plaster now. Basically, once a scramble happens, you, regardless if it's zone or man, you turn and you look for another jersey and you plaster yourself onto that guy. Some coaches would even say, hey, man, if that guy goes to take a piss in the tunnel, you go into the tunnel and pull down his zipper and give him the towel. That's where you're plastering him. You ain't up nothing. So that being said, when it's Lamar Jackson, Now it's a little bit different. What happens if all of a sudden he breaks contain and now he's coming upfield? We've seen that throughout his 7 years. So it's not unreasonable to not be used to, I gotta plaster. Well, wait a minute. I got Lamar Jackson. I gotta go get him, or I'm gonna be a part of this highlight, and it's gonna be a negative highlight. And you're thinking, if I'm Hubbard, if I'm the other guys, man, I got him, but you don't. And again, for Lamar, it looks like, that's both Isaiah and Mark. I mean, both of those guys, they have done it a zillion and one times. I have seen it throughout OTAs, throughout training camp. Play very similar to this, where I'm telling you, you think, man, that's a sack. Man, that's going to be an incompletion. And sure enough, Lamar escapes and he has his eyes down the field and he's throwing it and it's a completion. So this is something that they work on, and it's just Lamar being Lamar. It's a part of how he's such a phenomenal quarterback.
And you know what? And you can see right here in this last video, and we'll move on with it. I can't read out the number, but you have the one guy with likely that the Bengals defender that sees him moving, but the one in front just staring right at Lamar.
Yeah, that's
right.
What I'm saying.
But the scramble drill that you work on, like, hey, that's why you do a little backyard football practice, right? You never know, but you know how your quarterback moves, and then Baltimore's quarterback can do the unthinkable. I will also say there's probably two other quarterbacks that can do a similar thing. Josh Allen actually did something to the Ravens last week, falling out of bounds, and then Patrick Mahomes, but it's very, very few people on earth can do what Lamar Jackson and the Ravens just did there. And Q, you know what? I love the analogies. And also, by the way, if you're trying to still stay with it, be in shape, missile training, you're training people all the time. You got break right now. That's why you're joining us, right?
Absolutely. I'm about to have my next group come on in and take it to the next level. But yeah, missile training, you go to missiletraining.com for all your movement and sports performance needs.
Well, you know, we're going to have to get Kevin. You got to help Kevin with some form running. You know, that would be real. Talk about great content there. That would be amazing. Hey, Q, we got to give some love to the tight ends. I know Likely gets love. Andrews gets love. But Kevin, how about some Charlie Kolar getting some love, man?
And look, Q, this is your guy, man. So it brings me no greater joy than asking you about Mr. Charlie Kolar himself. I mean, look, he's gotten a couple of long ones this season, but he comes up with a touchdown in this game too. John Harbaugh trusts him to run that sneak on fourth down deep in Baltimore territory. And Harbaugh gave him praise in his press conference today, saying that he never really blocked and, wasn't really a blocker in college, didn't really line up on the line all that much, but he's turned himself into a fine blocker. I mean, how impressed have you been with the growth, and particularly in this game? He broke free from the Cincinnati defense and made an impact.
I tell you what, when you look at what Lamar was saying earlier in the week before this game, he was like, look, everyone is talking about our running attack and how dynamic it is. And, what do you do when, teams are going to try to stop you? Or you're going to be one dimensional? He's like, look, we're playing, chess, not checkers, and we got a lot of pieces. And I think what we're seeing is you got a piece in number 88 in Charlie Kolar, who has more than stepped up. Also, number 16, shout out Tylan Wallace. But with that said, when Charlie Kolar was tasked with getting bigger, putting on more muscle mass, and then refining his blocking skills, it's a credit to him that he went out there and did it. I think George Godsey, his tight ends coach, did a remarkable job as far as giving him some of the nuances of it. But you also got to credit Todd Monken, because when you have a run-dominant formation and personnel package, what is the other team going to do? They're going to put in their big guys too. They're going to put in their big nickel or their base personnel package. And so with Charlie Kolar, originally it's just base personnel package to run the football. Well, Derrick Henry, King Henry, we saw the show that he put on against the Dallas Cowboys, 150 plus, then comes back against the Bills, 199, dominating. And a lot of that was base run game personnel package. So the complement off of it, we saw it when Charlie connected up down the sideline in the Dallas game. It was a huge chunk play, but we're seeing it again down the seam for a huge chunk play when Lamar and company are talking about that chess, not checkers. When you have that base personnel, you got to match it as a defense or you're going to get gashed by King Henry. So it's the King Henry effect. It's having the other tools. It's having the trust in your guys to say, look, we know that we are confident that you're going to hold up at the line, that you're going to do what you need to do. And if we put you in base personnel and it's a passing attack or we're checking to a certain play, we have no doubt in our minds you're going to execute it at a high level. Chess, not checkers.
Well, and you know what there? By the way, Baltimore tight ends, by the way, had 3 touchdowns on Sunday. 4 passing touchdowns for Lamar Jackson. 3 went to tight ends. 2 to Likely, 1 to Charlie Kohler. And how about Mark Andrews was getting involved then? He had 4 catches, 55. He almost had a touchdown there. Yeah. And he just, Lamar, he was frustrated because he knew he underthrew it. It felt like it could have been a walk-in touchdown. They ended up scoring. Everything's good. But this tight end room is deep. It knows how to really figure things out. And you're seeing guys getting the credit or recognition they deserve right now. Q, before we let you get on out of here, you told me before that this was a slugfest in the AFC North. This is a different type of slugfest, right? Yeah. This is different here, but nonetheless, Baltimore just was able to vanquish a rival now where it's become a more bitter rivalry. We've heard it. These teams, fan bases, it's not like Pittsburgh and Baltimore where there's like a disdain or hate, but there's a little bit of respect. This has got a little bit chippy. So just from your perspective here, the theme you had was finding a way, slugfest in the AFC North. How do you expect this to help catapult the Ravens here as they get ready for future matchups between teams like the Browns, Bengals, and Steelers?
So I love that. And part of an AFC North battle, the reason why I was saying it's a slugfest is because who blinks first? In other words, we know you know Zach Taylor, John Harbaugh, their coordinators on both sides of the ball. They've thrown so much at one another. This game, you saw a ton of pressure in Lamar's face. You saw a ton of pressure in Joe Burrow's face. Joe Burrow played a phenomenal game. But when it comes to that AFC North, hey, who's going to blink first? You saw Lamar under duress, but he wasn't in a position to panic. He throws it to Isaiah Likely. Boom, take it to the next level. What happens with Joe Burrow? Now you got Marlon Humphrey with the interception. And that was a critical turning point. In the fourth quarter, we talked about this as far as when it was the Las Vegas Raiders and Max Crosby, how his game came into play in the fourth quarter to make a game-stopping interception, kill the momentum, and the Raiders get the ball back, and of course they go on to win. What happens? Nnamdi Madubuike, he comes up, boom, with a critical sack on Joe Burrow. So there was a lot of back and forth and critical moments. All game long, they were like, we are not allowing King Henry to run the ball. I think he, going into that fourth quarter or something like that, had 38 yards or something like that. Something really modest, mediocre compared to what we've seen the previous 2 weeks type of a rushing performance. But credit Todd Monken. Credit the offensive line. Credit, shout out, Tylen Wallace, receivers, for being ready and available. And now you get that toss sweep, and you seeing Derrick Henry running down the sideline, 21 point whatever miles per hour for a big dude, overtime when you need to have it. Boom, delivers. I mean, that's the type of mindset of championship football that you're looking at. And it validates what we were hearing from Isaiah Likely when the Ravens were defiant after the Kansas City Chiefs game, and they were at the podium, and they were like, look, if that's the best y'all got, wait, we gonna get better. And I'm seeing this unfold. We are seeing this unfold. So that's why I was like, man, it's such a slugfest, because you know Cleveland is going to be a challenge. Pittsburgh is going to be a challenge. You're going to have some other road tests that are going to be ahead of you. It's not going to be easy. The Commanders are coming to town. I can't wait to break down that game with you guys because it's going to be like, how does Jalen Daniels, what do we see with the defense and Zach Orr? What's he going to throw at a young quarterback? Another NFC opponent that got to figure out Lamar, yet at the same time, they've been seeing a guy that's very similar to Lamar in practice. Very hard to replicate if you're a defensive coordinator, but you've seen it throughout with Jalen Daniels. So there's going to be a lot of good football yet left to play. Loved what we've seen so far, and I absolutely just like wow over what we saw with the Cincinnati game, a classic AFC North slugfest.
It really was. And you know that I know that Q, that Baltimore has now won 3 in a row, above 500, sit at 3-2, and they are in a good position and in a better position than people thought just when we got past week 2. So Q, appreciate you again. For everyone out there, go check out missiletraining.com. But Q will be back for football IQ, Q tips, Q's with Q. I don't know what we're going to go with, Q. What are we going to go with?
I like the IQ.
All right.
We're bringing it. We're bringing the information and the wisdom. But at the same time, if the fan base, if they got questions for us, I am quick to go ahead and change it into some Q&A and answering it all and breaking it all down.
Boom. Yeah. And then for everyone out there too, we're going to have questions out there so Q can answer these questions when we talk next time. So Q, have a great rest of your day. Train them up in there and get ready for Kevin. Kevin says he can run a 40 faster than you even right now. So
whoa, never said that.
I will run barefoot backwards and beat Kevin.
Oh, hey now. Love it, Q. Oh,
That's content. That's content.
We're going to need that. All right, Q, appreciate you. You enjoy the rest of your day.
Indeed.
Hey,
Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Q.
Hey, Q is amazing, man. Good dude, unbelievable understanding of the game, right? And we appreciate him joining. But guess what? We appreciate you guys joining. If you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. The Ryan Ripken Show. We do this live every Monday and Thursday and Sunday. But on Monday and Thursday, we're live at 3 p.m. Eastern time to break this all down here. And hey, if you're not a member of the show or channel yet, you can click the join button next to the subscribe button. And for our call-ins, right, Brad? We're opening up our call-ins first to our members. Go ahead.
The link is also pinned in the chat as well if you want to go check that out there too. We also got 162 people watching, which I appreciate. It's all great. But 40 likes is blame sauce. Hit the thumbs up. It doesn't cost you anything. Help support the channel. We would certainly appreciate the like.
Do it. Shia LaBeouf. Do it. Make your dreams come true. And by the way, when I first saw that video a long time ago, if you guys, know the GIF I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. Guy's insane.
Do it. But the thing is, it's actually great messaging. Hey, don't let your dreams be dreams. Nothing is impossible, Kevin.
Nothing.
But you know what? You know what? People might have thought the Ravens coming back was going to be impossible after that, right? But they found a way. They move on. And also, too, we have this out on Spotify and Apple after our show's done. We'll put it up there. If you guys could rate and review on that, get the word out there, tell a friend to tell a friend about the Ryan Ripken Show. Also, you know a person that we didn't mention who had a really crucial moment in the game?
Marlon Humphrey.
Well, he's already mentioned, Kevin. Not Nick Moore, which obviously
that was
great
big,
snap.
Yeah.
But who's the guy that booted the big 50-plus yarder that I thought was cooked after 50-plus yards?
Justin Tucker.
He hit the absolute. What the hell was that?
I thought you were gonna say. I thought you were going Jordan Stout, and I'm like, wait, what? And then I'm like, no, you're going Justin Tucker. I said it louder than Zach did. Now I'm the one getting flack.
I said Justin Tucker. You said Jordan.
No, I said Justin Tucker.
Yeah, but you started with Jordan.
Yeah, have a little bit of enthusiasm.
They're both J's.
Yeah, have some enthusiasm here.
All right.
Have some enthusiasm, Kevin. Justin Tucker, the kicker that everyone's saying, he's got a problem. The dude with the game on the line from deep. And the wind swirling nailed it. And then obviously Evan McPherson, correct me if I'm wrong, kicking the same side.
Well,
and there were some other issues in that last play.
Well, yeah, Tucker also aimed the outside of that upright and watch it just swirl right in the middle of the uprights. It was
Yeah.
absolutely incredible. It was a 50-plus yarder clinic in the wind for the greatest of all
I
time.
mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, if he could give us a little heads up that he's gonna be aiming for the outside.
Well,
upright,
you saw the wind.
Well, that he's been missing left all year.
Yeah,
and all of a
yeah.
sudden, so it went up, and I'm not gonna lie. I saw it start left. I was like, wow. I was like, that's not even gonna be close. And then it goes the other way. And I was like, I'm sorry, I doubted. Should have never done it.
Yeah. And you know what? You should, because Justin Tucker, though, by the way, my philosophy, when you're great, and Tucker is great. He's the greatest kicker of all time.
Yes.
When you are great, you're going to figure it out. Usually, you're going to figure it out. There's no doubt in my mind Tucker's going to figure it out. Nick's been talking about it, and how about that? Ravens needed it. We know he struggled from 50-plus yards recently, but guess what? In the biggest moment, the Ravens needed him. He knocks it through. And then obviously after Derrick Henry's big run, 24-yarders, you kidding me, in this economy? That's going through, no doubt about it. Baltimore gets the win. Before we move on into, maybe we're talking about how the Ravens, they need to clean some things up so they don't beat themselves, right? We have someone there that thinks that. He's a very highly intelligent and touted coach. We'll get to that. Before we do that, why don't we take a ride on our Adams Jeep of Maryland here. And now we're back to not feeling safe with Kevin at the wheel, Brad.
Yeah.
I feel safe with myself at the wheel.
Well, that makes
yeah,
one of us.
That's because Kevin drives like a grandpa.
Kevin,
that is also accurate.
He does.
Well, Kevin's the only one then to be driving in the car with himself. No one else is getting in that vehicle. People might not want to get in the vehicle with Rocco. But Adams Jeep of Maryland up there. It's in Aberdeen. It's 5 minutes down the stadium from the Ironbirds, or Ripken Stadium, as I've been told it's called once or twice. But, hey, you go to Adams Jeep of Maryland, you buy a used car up there, and you just use the phrase, hey, we love the Ryan Ripken Show, and Rocco sucks. Then all is going to be good. They'll give you a chance to get a gas card up to $1,000 for purchasing a used car. And obviously, you want your car detailed, serviced, whatever it is. Doesn't have to be a Jeep. They are our go-to, and they are an OG sponsor for the Ryan Ripken Show. So Adams Jeep of Maryland, we appreciate you guys. Tell Matt and Chuck that we say hello. Guys, let's go to this then, because I think this is a very good point. And Bill Belichick's been watching a lot of football. He's played against the Baltimore Ravens a lot of times. So when he speaks, I believe him. So Bill Belichick was on Pat McAfee today, Brad.
Yes.
Talking about this Baltimore Ravens team and how he thinks really the team that can beat Baltimore is Baltimore. So let's play that.
About Baltimore a little bit there, because they obviously end up with a win. Tucker hits a 56-yarder, aims outside the post. The amount of trust that you have to have in your swing, in the wind, and the amount of talent you have to hit that ball at that moment, that late in the fourth, to send it to overtime against an AFC North rivalry, and then hit the game winner, obviously, at the end. And then tell me about this. How do you think Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson are allowed to be on the same team? And how about Patrick Ricard as a fullback in there? On Derrick Henry's earlier touchdown, it was his 100th touchdown in his career, whatever the case was. He falls, gains his balance, then he runs over like four guys. Patrick Ricard's pulling him. It's like, is this the year that the Ravens are the most dangerous on the offensive side of the ball? And do they have enough defensively to maybe win this thing this year? What is your takeaway from the Ravens after this big win?
Yeah, well, I think, the Ravens every week, they got to look at it like the biggest opponent is the Ravens. They just can't let themselves beat themselves. They can't let the Ravens beat the Ravens. So I think if they can do that, like the fumble, the turnover that Lamar had, that wasn't anybody's fault but theirs. And so they've had some of those. That's looked like some coverage miscommunication and bust there. Give up a lot of yardage and a lot of points against Cincinnati. Obviously need to tighten that up, but when they're hitting on all cylinders, when they've got it going right, it really looks good. They just got to find that consistency and eliminate some of the things that they've done that put themselves in a hole more than what the opponents have done to them. So I'm sure that's the focus there. Take care of our business. Let's just play the way that we need to play and not lose the game. And if we don't lose it, we'll probably win it. So,
seemingly, Lamar has taken that next step leadership-wise, too, from everything we see off the field. Yeah. It's like, is this the year where it is they continue to show up?
So I think that's a phrase that we've said, heard, spoken about.
I know Zach on this very show has said that Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry should not be on the same team.
No.
That's not fair.
Shouldn't be allowed. Shouldn't be legal.
So
it's a safety hazard for the rest of the league. It's a safety hazard.
Yeah.
A guy that big shouldn't be allowed. Didn't he gave Rapp a concussion last week?
Yeah, like it just. I mean, you could. Derrick Henry, when he runs the football, we could talk about the final run yesterday. He is tiptoeing the sideline. Half of his body is like hovering over the white, trying to stand, and then he grabs another human and throws them, and then still cuts out and gained like 10 more yards. Like that shouldn't be possible. No human should do that.
No, he shouldn't. They shouldn't be able to do that.
Kick him out of the league.
But the other phrase that I was thinking about right now, don't do that.
Yeah,
don't.
That's a joke.
Yeah.
But the other phrase is Baltimore beating themselves. And look,
yes.
and it's giving credit to the other teams. You got to go and force Baltimore to make mistakes. But how many teams throughout the NFL can say, we have the roster to win the Super Bowl? Like, truly, if we do what we're supposed to do, we're going to win a lot of games, right? Some teams can't sit there and honestly say, you know what, if we do everything that we need to do, it's going to work out. Like Baltimore, what weakness when they look from the outside? We know weaknesses that they're doing right now, but when you look at the talent that they have, you got a premier defensive line play. Like you have pieces. You have Matabike, Odafe always playing well. At the second level, you have Roquan Smith and Simpson's emerging. In the secondary, you have talented players led by Kyle Hamilton. You still have Marlon Humphrey that can play solid ball, but you have good players at every level, and then the offense speaks for itself. You have the MVP of the league. You have the running back who is not born or not made from this planet in Derrick Henry. You have guys that can beat you in so many different ways, right? So that's what Bill Belichick's trying to say, Kev, is that Baltimore – unless they have, and he mentioned the miscommunications in the secondary, which we were talking about. It's Baltimore's problem has been less maybe that they don't, it's not a talent issue. It's just been an execution issue that has held them back.
I don't know. I hear what you're saying. I even hear what Bill Belichick is saying, but if there is a glaring weakness, it is that secondary. I mean, Jamar Chase almost received for 200 yards yesterday.
But
absolutely,
so, he owns us.
Yeah,
he does. But so that 50 or 60 of those yards came on a deep ball. Then the other 60, 70 yards.
It's the explosive plays that the secondary is giving up. That's the big problem.
So let me ask the question, which I agree that is a concern. But is that more of a lack of talent, or is that more of a lack of communication and assignments not being addressed? Because the other part on the 2 touchdowns in the red zone, correct me if I'm wrong here. T. Higgins, the one that I saw, right? He was moving in. T. Higgins came across the screen. Eddie Jackson, they were trying to communicate. And before they could get the communication done, T. Higgins is already starting a slant route. And I'm not saying Eddie Jackson on T. Higgins is a favorable matchup. It's not.
Yeah.
But there just seems to be communications off. So, I mean, maybe you guys have a thought. Kevin, you got a thought on that? Is it more of a talent issue for Baltimore, or is it trying to get used to a new system and communication hasn't been there as much as it should?
I mean, on paper, they have a ton of talent, but I mean, Marcus Williams is graded out as one of the worst safeties this year. He's clearly regressed, and, you know, it's been tough to watch him. Marlon has had great moments this year, a couple of miscommunications also. Mm-hmm. Brandon Stevens had a tough one on Sunday.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He needs to learn to turn back for the ball. He needs to learn to turn back for the ball. So in my opinion, I think it's a little of both.
Marlon also let himself get, like, he had the interception, which I don't know if it makes up for all the blown coverages on Jamar Chase, but he did have the interception. But like the corners in particular, not like Kyle Hamilton in the back is by far, it's like him and Lamar are the best athletes on the field. Yeah. But everybody else in that secondary, in my opinion, it can be scheme, but I think there is a lack of talent there as well.
Well, so I'm not saying that it's a perfect secondary, right? But I think that what I've seen when the teams came back on Baltimore early on, the Cowboys, there was multiple situations where either they couldn't get home on Dak in that game, or when we broke down with Q, there's just a lack of miscommunication, and there's a wide open gap of space.
Week 1 with Xavier Worthy, right? Yeah.
Xavier Worthy, there was another example. The Cowboys game we just talked about, and then the Jamar Chase 40 seconds left in the half, and they hit a 50-yard touchdown. They get the ball back and then go 60 yards, 50 of it being a Jamar Chase touchdown, where it was one step wrong in on a cover, and we're saying it was cover 4. I got to go back and look at the play. But regardless, it's exposed. And players like Jamar Chase are taking advantage of it. I think in Buffalo's case, when they played it, this is no knock. They got talented players. Buffalo doesn't have a player like Jamar Chase or T. Higgins on their offense for that explosiveness.
Yeah, and I see a couple people like Doug here saying who's going to cover Terry McLaurin this week, and then someone else had mentioned Chase. How do you criticize any defenders against Chase? I'm not saying that Chase is an easy assignment, but 200 yards for any receiver, I don't care if they're elite or not, is way too many yards to give up on one player. And Joe Burrow threw for 392 yards. The passing defense is 28th in the league, and we're 5 weeks in. So I understand what you're saying, Rip, but I think, as we get further and down into the season, we're seeing progress with the offensive line. Obviously, these last 3 wins were crucial, and we saw how the offensive line was able to improve after those first 2 weeks when we thought that they were going to be absolutely atrocious. But we're 5 weeks in, and the passing defense is ranked 28th in the league. So how many more weeks do we need to give it before we're like, okay, this is a talent issue, or this is a glaring problem, versus adjustments that need to be made.
Yeah, and I give it a month. I give it the first 4 weeks of the season, and then it becomes a trend. Because early week 1, week 2, it's like, okay, we're literally like a week into the season. We're not going to overreact off of one game, right? But now we have a bigger sample size. Now it's 5 weeks. Now it's over a month of football, and to Brad's point, like Jamar almost had. This is not the first time Jamar has had almost or over 200 yards on this Ravens secondary. It's different seasons, right? But Jamar's a heck of a player, but it wasn't just Jamar Chase that was doing it. T. Higgins had 2 touchdowns. He was making plays. Yoshevach had a big play down the sideline that set Cincinnati up. You see Mike Gesicki had a play where he had a big completion. So it's not just the Ravens were getting torched by one guy. It was the entire game they were getting torched by everybody, which is why, and we'll talk about this a little more later, I cannot understand Zach Taylor's decision to run the ball 3 straight times for the set up the 53-yarder. I thought that was scared coaching, and honestly, to me, that's fireable.
Well, so the thing right
Kevin.
there, say it with your chest, Kevin.
Let's go.
Tarps off with the conversation. This is a point I guess I was trying to at least get to. And by the way, talent is talent. If your talent is like Jamar Chase, and it's one-on-one, Jamar Chase probably win that battle more times than not because he's that good. So you're right. Like talent-wise, there's no one on the Baltimore that you can say, hey, one-on-one, my money's going to be on you. And that's no knock to any Ravens player. That's just a vindication just on how good Jamar is. It's like across the league. But Rome MVP just says right here at Ryan, we're replacing 4 defensive coaches. One is now the head coach in Seattle. One is the defensive coordinator in Tennessee. One is the defensive coordinator in Miami, and our current defensive coordinator had to find a replacement for all his positions. And by the way, he is now a defensive coordinator for the first time. So what I'm trying to say, at least, whatever the reasons may be, there has been too many miscommunications overall. Like, I would just be curious in this situation here. If they were a little bit more sound on some blown assignments, what would it look like? And that's hard to say, but what we do know is it's not just – if it was one thing saying this Bengals game, I'd be like, yep, all right, we got confused here. But if you go back and watch the other games, it has happened game after game where there's moments, and not just like one moment. The only game where there truly wasn't was Buffalo.
Yeah.
The only game was Buffalo, where it was just an ass-kicking. And Buffalo almost got back in there.
Which I would make the argument that there isn't an elite wide receiver that Josh Allen has to throw to. So
not at all.
That I think was the difference. And we're starting to see that that's getting exposed with the Houston game this past week as well.
Yeah, so I think that it's a good understanding there. But yeah, the Bengals' strength was not running the football, Kev. No, like it wasn't at all. And also the way that T. Higgins and Chase and really any pass catcher for there was having an opportunity. Yeah, you had a little bit too much faith that your kicker was going to come through. And we're going to have Nick Moore on Thursday. Not a great snap, apparently. Nick thinks
he had some words. He had some words in there,
but we know the hold was fumbled.
Yep.
It was a fumbled hold. and I'm not McPherson, you got to, try to do your best to make the kick, but the process was not good. Mm-hmm. And so you had so much faith that you could execute there. And we're talking about a team, Cincinnati has made more mistakes like that. They could very well be 4-1. Instead, they're 1-4 because they're
3 plays away. 3 plays away from being 4-1. I mean, you think back at KC.
Yep.
And yesterday's game, like they're 3 plays away from being 4-1.
Yeah, they are. And honestly, there's so much to unpack here with that. That was a great game. The coaching by the Bengals and Zach Taylor. I'd be curious what happens here if the Bengals do not make the playoffs, and that's down the road here. What you do?
Yeah,
because to me, there really is. We've heard how good the Bengals are. Eli, you're saying it right here. There's no way the Bengals should be 1-4. They are way too talented.
Their offenses.
Their offense is too talented.
Their defense is atrocious.
Joe Burrow's numbers-wise might be the best offensive numbers for a quarterback.
He's awesome. Joe's great.
Joe Burrow, if that team's even 2-3, is the front runner for MVP. But like that's how good of a year. Like everyone looks at the 1-4, and obviously, like team sport defense is atrocious. We've been talking about that. Joe Burrow. You got to tip your cap. He talked about how before the game yesterday, he said that he needed to play almost perfect for them to win. And he did. And the one thing that was the difference between perfect and almost is that one interception. And that was potentially the difference in the game. I mean, they hold on to that. They go kick a field goal, go up 6, or they just hang on to the ball and run it out. So
how about Lamar also only throwing 1 interception all season long?
Yeah,
9 touchdowns,
and that one wasn't even really his fault.
Yeah, it hit off Bateman's hands.
Yeah,
so
he's having Lamar's okay.
Running back,
they can keep him.
Yeah,
hey,
not bad for running.
Don't we have that clip right now? Chris Canty was talking about would he apologize about Joe Burrow's if he was playing well?
Yeah. So for context on this, Chris Canty before this game started was asked, if he trusted Lamar Jackson or Joe Burrow, and so Chris Canty, obviously was saying that he trusted Lamar Jackson over Joe Burrow, and it wasn't even close. And basically also made some characteristics about Joe Burrow, and that, calling him out, holding him accountable essentially, and other media personnel for that matter, holding Joe Burrow in such high regard when he really, the only thing that he's done that's separates himself from Lamar's get to the Super Bowl in a game in which he lost. So here's the reaction after the game for Chris Canty asking if he should apologize to Joe Burrow after his performance yesterday.
On adventure, I like it.
Okay.
I like it.
You have to do one of 2 things right now. You have to apologize to Joe Burrow, or you have to blame Joe Burrow for the loss. Go ahead.
I would like to take this time to apologize to absolutely nobody. Why would I apologize to Joe Burrow? No shot. No shot. If he doesn't throw an interception in the 4th quarter with 3 minutes to go, his team wins the game. But he did, and he paved the way for the Baltimore Ravens to kick a game-time field goal and to force overtime. And in overtime, what did he do? He didn't go out and win the football game. Now, his head coach didn't give him a chance to win the football game, but he didn't go out and win the football game. Why should I apologize to a quarterback that blew a double-digit lead in the 4th quarter, less than 6 minutes to go, at home? And since we're at it and we're talking about quarterbacks, I know Lamar Jackson at times didn't cover himself in glory. That fumble in overtime is absolutely inexcusable. But I will say this, Lamar Jackson is 9-1 against the Cincinnati Bengals as a starter, including a perfect 4-0 in Cincinnati. So we give Joe Burrow all of this credit for giving Patrick Mahomes hell, but we don't want to talk about how Lamar Jackson gives Joe Burrow hell. I don't know how we got to a place where all of a sudden we're going to say we trust Joe Burrow more than we trust Lamar Jackson. Is it because of one win in the playoffs 3 years ago where he beat the Chiefs in the conference championship game to get to a Super Bowl that he then lost? Is that why we want to say we trust Joe Burrow more than a guy that's won 2 MVPs? Give me a break.
I thought that the final towards the last point that he was making, as far as we always criticize Lamar for not being able to beat Pat Mahomes, which nobody has actually able to really been able to do, and then on the flip side, not speaking about how Joe Burrow cannot beat Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, and I think that's the bigger part here. Is just giving respect to it. Just like we're giving respect. Joe Burrow balled. He played extremely well. He had the one pick was that gave the Ravens life there. Because right there, if they don't throw that interception, the game's probably over. There was not a lot of confidence that Baltimore was going to go down and score a touchdown.
Right.
If the Bengals get another first down, the game's going to be kind of iced out, right? Like there was that opportunity, okay? But Joe Burrow was great. The bigger argument that we keep bringing up is it's just at some point, when does a two-time MVP not get criticized anymore?
Right.
Like that's just the thing. Lamar Jackson, 9-1 against your division rival. Lamar Jackson, 19-1, 20-1 against the NFC. 20-1.
It's more now. It's like 22-1.
No, 21.
Is it 21?
20-1 versus the NFC.
20, I think it's 21.
21. Either one. He's really freaking good against the NFC.
Yeah.
His only kryptonite is Daniel Jones and the Giants.
Yes.
My favorite stat ever.
It's unbelievable, but that's really the point of it all. Good players, but Lamar Jackson, Baltimore Ravens, they deserve it. And hey, the point is for the Bengals, they're 1-4. Their record is what it represents. They are a talented team, but if you don't find ways to win those games, and it's also that Patriots game, that one to me, losing it at home, that's the most inexcusable of all the ones. And then for your defense, we talked about, hey, the Ravens got to fix things. They still found ways to win 3 straight games. Cincinnati now has found ways to lose 4 games instead of winning them. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We do this every Monday and Thursday and Sunday. But Monday and Thursday, we go live at 3 p.m. Eastern time. On Sunday, we do our pregame shows. We'll have one for the Ravens and Commanders here in Baltimore. We'll have boots on the ground at the stadium pregame. Zach and Rocco are going to run it back for take 2. Should be a great one. We'll get into that game with the Commanders and Ravens. But, guys, why don't we take a look back on Week 5 here for a quick moment and talk about some of the dogs this week or some of the action that we saw, brought to you by our friends over at Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races in West Virginia. Oh, baby, that was good. Really good. But our friends at Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races, hey, we're going to be up there on October 27th for a little tailgate experience. We are doing a live show up there. It's an hour from Owings Mills. It's an hour and 15 minutes from Baltimore, but we're going to be there. We're going to be watching the games, eating some food, having a great time. I got to get you the link, Brad, so you can send that out to people there.
Yep.
But it's just people helping people, man. But if you want to come up there, have some fun, have some food, have some drinks, we'll show you the place where you can sign up and join, which should be a great event. And for Hollywood Casino, they've been great to us. Like I said, they've been one of our proud sponsors there. And if you like a good steak, the Final Cut Steakhouse makes a great medium rare, even medium. They don't do burnt, Kevin.
Tragic.
Yeah, no gray steaks.
Tragic.
You're a good kid, Kevin. But hey, go visit our friends Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races in West Virginia. Might just have to get a West Virginia shirt. You know,
Wild and wonderful.
Wild and wonderful, West Virginia. Hey guys, there was some wild action across the football. There were some dogs winning. How about the Giants going to Seattle, picking up the W? How about the Cowboys, who Zach and I had this week, going to Pittsburgh?
Woo!
Man, they don't make it a little bit more challenging for themselves.
I still got my dogs tonight.
And your dog is tonight.
Yeah.
Saints over the Chiefs.
Saints over the Chiefs in Arrowhead, which would be an absolute crazy dog pick if that actually hits. Oh, by the way, we didn't touch on this before we get into it, but I called Zay Flowers over 100 yards receiving yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Bali ended up hitting on Derrick Henry yesterday as well.
On the final play.
What
I had 2.5
you hit on
for the
yours at
Ravens.
2.5? Yeah.
Good day.
What did Rocco have?
Not
I
that.
think, Rocco.
20 and a half receiving yards for Justice Hill.
Hill, he only got 13.
Oh,
Sad
damn.
Rocco.
Yeah,
Learn ball.
Rocco sucks.
Rocco does suck. And actually, Brad, that long link I just put in there, that is to sign up for the
Got it.
For the tailgate experience, which again, by the way, you sign up for Hollywood Casino and you use that link below that we'll add in to purchase the package. The first 30 people that use the code Ripken, RIPKEN, they'll get 20% off on their booking. So, hey, come up with us, have fun, and we'll be watching the Ravens and Browns. That's who plays on that day. Speaking of the Browns, not a good day. Not a good day for the Brownies. Not a good season for the Brownies, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
To be transparent. Some would say might be the worst situation in sports. Actually, specifically, Dan Orlovsky went off on his opinion and beliefs of where the Cleveland Browns organization is, and he didn't mince any words of where he thinks Deshaun Watson is at this point in his career. So let's play that clip.
C.J. Stroud had the best season that any rookie quarterback has ever had. To this point, Jaden Daniels has been better. Dan, what are we seeing?
Washington has found their Lamar Jackson. The playmaking with his feet is spectacular. And automatically, you're like, this team's going to contend for Super Bowls because of this young player. The passing, the timing of their pass game has gone up. Their zone read offense right now is
crazy.
You're getting like 5 yards a clip, and that's a bad play. They run the ball well with Brian Robinson. His connection with those receivers, he's unfazed. Nothing phases this young man.
Let's go where's the Brownies one? The Brownies will not get in there.
They're in an awful situation, and by every measure, if you just watch the game and then you look at the stats, their offensive performance, and specifically Deshaun Watson's offensive performance, is the worst in the NFL. They're done.
Should they bench him?
Yes, they should have benched him week one. They should have started thinking about Jameis Winston.
You did say that,
But I don't think this is a head coach decision, and I don't think this is a general manager decision. I truly believe this is from the owner, because there's no way that you would watch this football tape over the last 5 weeks and say that's our best opportunity. Look, this is why it's the worst situation in pro sports. $150 million.
They still own.
$150 million.
Yeah, to be clear.
They might have $150 million guaranteed to a quarterback and justify taking a first-round draft pick at quarterback next year.
So there it is. Worst situation in sports. And guys, I got to be honest. People keep saying the Browns keep being the Browns. Mm-hmm. Kevin Stefanski, it's not that he can't coach.
No.
And you've seen it.
Two-time coach of the year.
Kevin Stefanski has proven he's a good coach. This situation has just become toxic. It's become terrible.
Yeah.
It was already the worst trade when the time comes. I still don't understand how you make a trade with all of the allegations, everything's still not finished. I get it if you're saying, hey, second chances or we did our due diligence. But that was also coming off a guy that hadn't played football the previous season as well, and then has to then deal with the suspension. So what? He didn't play. Then he had to sit out the suspension, and then you gave him a guaranteed contract. And then that was probably the most lifeless game I've seen from the Browns in that era.
Yeah.
And how can you feel confident right there? And I think that they're stuck. Like they have to be stuck. And I mean, you guys agree? Anybody think that Cleveland's not the worst situation in the NFL? I know that the Panthers, but even the Panthers seem in better spirits
Bryce
right now.
Young yesterday threw a dot coming into the game.
So he's back.
I don't know. It was an incredible throw. But no, to answer your question, the Browns are cooked for the next 3 years because with the cap and them being, they're not going to be able to get rid of Watson. Mm-hmm. It's almost kind of one of those things where I understand that where Orlovsky is coming from, but what other options do you have? I mean, is Jameis Winston really going to make you that much of a better team?
I think so.
Don't know. This is a guy that threw the most interceptions in the league while throwing the most touchdowns in the league. And that was during his peak. I just don't know if Jameis Winston has it in him.
I just don't see this team being successful with Watson. And I think it's not even at this point a talent thing. I mean, I think, without a doubt, Watson, I don't even know if I can say he is better than Jameis. He should be. We've seen him be better, but that Deshaun Watson also hasn't really shown up since the Texans. I mean, we've seen
massage Watson.
We've seen these different games here and there where it's, you see the glimpses and you're like, okay, it's still there. But overall, I mean, yesterday, just even the body language of his teammates and stuff, Amari Cooper just looks fed up with the number of times that he gets open and the ball is thrown nowhere close to him, stuff like that. I almost think it's even taking away the talent aspect of it. You just need something, some sort of a vibe change, something there, because it is not going well right now.
Well, how about this? Let's play a little fun game here, guys. They played 5 games. Over or under, Deshaun Watson has a game over 200 passing yards.
No. Under.
Yeah, under is correct. Deshaun Watson has had 3 games with a completion percentage over or under 60%.
Oh, under.
Under.
3 games. He threw for 53%, just over 53% this last game.
Jesus.
15 to 28 for 125. He has yet to throw over 200 yards yet this season. He has 5 total touchdowns passing, 3 interceptions. He has 1 rushing touchdown, a QBR at just 21 on a scale to 100. 21. His QBR on Sunday was an 8.5, which is almost his lowest since his week 1 performance against the Cowboys.
Still has $150 million guaranteed left on his contract.
And I think that's the point of saying with Jameis Winston, at least Jameis is going to give you a little bit more energy, a little bit more spice. It might not be the spice that you want.
It's going to be the spice in the form of turnovers.
They need a spark because their season now is going down the drain. And the confidence of what you're seeing over and over and over again.
It's already there.
It is tough to be a Browns fan.
I also don't know why you would pay go get one of the better backup quarterbacks in the league if you don't anticipate something like this happening. I mean, I know they didn't pay him a lot. Jameis, that I think was a minimum-ish deal, but
also, the reason why they didn't bring Joe Flacco back?
Because they didn't want contention in the locker room,
in the
quarterback room.
They didn't want a controversy because they know Joe Flacco is still so damn elite. And by the way, Joe Flacco is still very damn elite.
If I was Stefanski, I'd just want out. He'd get a head coaching job somewhere else, a much more competent organization.
It has just become a situation now with Cleveland where I thought last year, we were just talking about last year, it could be dangerous in the postseason. Like we felt it. We're like, damn.
Yeah.
January Joe.
They're pretty good. They got Joe Flacco.
I wouldn't be shocked, and maybe reports of this came out, I can't remember, but I think some players in the locker room probably might have thought their better shot was with Joe than Deshaun.
I would not surprise me. Honestly, I think the Colts could make it to the playoffs this season with Joe Flacco. We talked about this on Sunday, Rip, that I don't know if you guys were listening, but I think that Joe Flacco should remain the starter for the rest of the season and let a guy who's only had 20 starts since high school, learn a few lessons from Joe Flacco as he continues to develop. I think it would be in the Colts' best interest if Joe Flacco starts the rest of the season.
Well, and Anthony's just been banged up a lot. Anthony Richardson, we'll get into
another good point. Yeah,
and we'll get into that conversation a little bit more around the news and notes. But the one that kind of is relevant to at least to our fan bases now, because look, we're right down the street from the Commanders, and we got a lot of Commanders fans that are also Orioles fans.
Yeah,
Jaden Daniels and the Commanders, dude, those guys are good.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a drill. They're 4-1. They just absolutely smacked the Browns, and we know their problems. But now Jaden Daniels continues to show different ways to lead, to bring so much to an offense that Dan Orlovsky was even saying on this morning on Get Up that they got their franchise guy very similar to the one that Baltimore has.
Cable, CJ Stroud had the best season that any rookie quarterback has ever had. To this point, Jaden Daniels has been better. Dan, what are we seeing?
Washington has found their Lamar Jackson. The playmaking with his feet is spectacular, and automatically you're like, this team's going to contend for Super Bowls because of this young player. The timing of their pass game has gone up. Their zone read offense right now is
crazy.
You're getting like 5 yards a clip, and that's a bad play. They run the ball well with Brian Robinson. His connection with those receivers, he's unfazed. Nothing phases this young man.
And I would agree. I don't think anything phases them. And once again, the Commanders blow out a team. They blew out the Cardinals. They blew out the Browns. By the way, the Cardinals just won a wild game against the Niners, which they probably didn't have business winning. But Arizona just went on the road and beat the 49ers there, who we think is a talented team.
They took care of the Bengals as well.
They did. But, guys, that's high praise. I think the comparison that Lamar Jackson's gotten and the one player that at least is closest to Lamar that people say could be is Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you what, man. Right now, if you're a Commanders fan, you got to be giddy. You got to be so excited because he's evolving too. Terry McLaurin now, Scary Terry's got 2 100-yard receiving games in the last 3 games that they've played.
Yeah, when's the last time that's happened?
I don't even know, but I will say this. They got playmakers. They got Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler, two very, very capable running backs. You got a deep threat in Scary Terry. You have a belief now that every time that Jaden Daniels goes on the field that they think that they can win a game. That does sound a lot like Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
That, hey, you got this guy. They can win games. And guess who's coming to town? It's not going to be flexed, but Ravens Commanders on Sunday at the bank.
Should have been flexed. It should have been a primetime game.
I know it's late, and believe me, the late games can be tough. And I know CBS, why would you want to give up that game? Because, right, Jim Nantz and Tony Romo are coming to call that game. Their A crew is coming, right? But, man, for the sake of football fans, throw that puppy on Sunday night.
Yeah.
The Maryland region is the center point of the NFL universe in Week 5.
Yeah.
Who would have thought in 2024?
It's going to be a great game.
Oh, gosh. We're going to have a lot to discuss on that game. It's going to be crazy. And that's the thing. I just saw Giants and Bengals. It's just shirts and pants, man.
Over Ravens and Commanders.
Can you believe it? I can believe it. You know what I can't believe? That the Ravens won. And then I'm very happy. And Joe Flacco also
won. I
put a nice little sprinkle. Joe Flacco, 2 touchdowns. I don't even know why I had a doubt. That guy's unbelievable. I love football season, man. I think you see all the emotions, but I truly do feel for a lot of Orioles fans, our Commanders and Ravens fans. I'm just happy you guys have something to hang your hat on right now. That's where I feel it's like, oh, okay, my other team I care about is starting to play pretty well here. So, hey, if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button here. Ryan Ripken Show, do it every Monday and Thursday, 3 p.m. Eastern time. That's when we tip it off. I know we have call-ins coming up soon. Yes. Brad, what time we moving that to?
4:30. I'm getting ready to put the link out right now.
Okay.
Actually, so real quick. So the link's going to Holy Shirts and Pants members first. So if you want to have priority on getting on the show, make sure you hit that join button next to subscribe and help support the channel in that way. So we certainly would appreciate it. And as a thank you, we'll give you the priority to coming onto the show first. If we don't get too many people showing up, then I'll open it up for everyone else.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just a great time here, Kev. Oh, man. And you know what? I was going to say we got to get on the gridiron, but Ollie is taking a nap on the gridiron.
Nah, you're just scared.
Kevin. Are we doing burpees again? Gridiron Golf, you know what? That's what we might have to bring out to the tailgates on Sunday. That it is the new tailgate game.
Yeah.
By far. Gridiron Golf, proud sponsor of the Ryan Ripken Show. They want to get in on the giveaways. They want to come down here and talk on the show and talk about the game and what to do. Okay. And maybe, Kevin, you can challenge them to some squat-offs.
Squat-offs?
Yeah.
Challenge Gridiron himself.
Yeah, see, look at that. Ali heard you and he moved.
Ollie, he's such a good pup. Voted 2024 best studio pup of this time.
Runaway vote.
Hey, since we got a little bit of time then, Brad, before we get to the call-ins about football, baseball, anyone wants to talk about, I think the one thing we do have to mention is baseball.
Yes.
At least because of this conversation here. Mm-hmm. So first off, hell of some series right now. Phillies, Mets, Padres, Dodgers.
Oh.
If you guys didn't watch Jack Flaherty go tell Manny Machado to sit the F down last night, man.
Oh.
It was, do we have that clip pulled up? Let's pull that up for a second. No love lost out there on the West Coast. And I know Oriole fans, it's tough, but at least if you're a baseball fan, these series are electric. And 2 former Orioles. Yeah, he didn't say just, sit the F down.
No.
He said something else, and you guys can read. If I'm a good lip reader.
If I'm John Boy, he says, sit the fuck down, motherfucker.
Yeah, I think that's what I got too. That's what, and I know Kevin said that to me.
There it is.
Kevin said that to me a few times there.
That's Rip After Dark.
That is Rip After Dark there. But you know what? The series are going on. It's
I love how spicy it's getting. I love how spicy this is getting.
Oh, it's getting very caliente. You know what also got caliente out of nowhere was that Terry Francona is back in baseball. And not just back in baseball. He's going to a team that underperformed in their mind, but an up-and-coming team with a lot of talent, Cincinnati Reds. So he goes from the Guardians to the Reds. And I think that we wanted to play this clip because I know a lot of people, Brad, for Orioles fans, were not happy about Hyde coming back, which I told people Hyde deserves to come back for 25.
I do too. I agree.
But I do understand a lot of people wanted Terry Francona and talking about accountability, respect. And actually, this clip we'll play for you is Terry Francona talking about the opportunity and how he views accountability as he's going to be the manager there for the Reds in 2025. So let's play that for you guys.
Terry, one of the buzzwords ever since the move with David was made was accountability and having accountability for this team. You talked about the talent, the athleticism, what this team has. How do you manage accountability with a young roster?
I don't know if I could give you that answer today. And the reason being is I'm not trying to cop out of not giving you an answer. But until you meet players, until you meet the staff, you have to build relationships with guys. Inevitably, when you're in a position of leadership, you're going to have to tell some guys things they don't want to hear. But the best way I know to do that is to develop a relationship built on honesty and trust. And that's the best way I know how to do it. And you got to remember, I mean, I've spent my entire life in a baseball locker room, in a clubhouse. There's no place I'm more comfortable. So having the conversations is maybe easier for me than maybe somebody coming in from outside. It's where I'm comfortable.
So Terry Francona has been around for a while, right? And actually, fun fact, you know who was the manager of, I think it was the Birmingham Barons when Michael Jordan was playing and he came to play baseball?
Well, Terry Francona.
It was Terry Francona. How about that? But Terry Francona got off to it took time for him to become the manager that he was. And obviously people remember him in 2004. They broke the curse, down 3-0 against the Yankees, went on to win the World Series. They won another one. But he was a part of that clubhouse in that situation where the Red Sox had that big collapse. And I thought things were unjustly thrown out there. Guys were drinking and doing all that. They're grown men. They're adults. But, yeah, they said that they lost the locker room where things happened there in Boston. That was the Robert Andino game, one of Zach's favorite memories from his childhood.
Yeah.
So Terry Francona, though, about accountability, he's got to know the guys. I like the hire a lot for the Reds. I think that Terry is a proven manager. He knows how to win. And I know that that's the one thing, Brad, with Oriole fans. They're sitting there going, well, should that have been coming to Baltimore? I just think that's too premature. And also, it was going to take some time for Terry to get to know people.
Right.
Like that was one thing he said, is you got to get to know people. And I don't know what the expectation for the Reds is going to be next year, but it's going to take time to implement what you want to do and put it into place. But I think Oriole fans, like, I'm not saying Terry could have not been a good fit in Baltimore, but I think Brandon Hyde still has earned that right for this year.
Yeah.
And also, I think it's fair to say Terry Francona is one of the last, like, kind of old school managers, him and Bruce Bochy. Am I losing my mind on that?
Yeah, I would say it's them. I'm trying to think anyone else, really.
Well, Buck.
And but Buck's not managing it.
Yeah. Right. But I mean, just like in general, Buck Showalter.
It is. It'd be good to talk to Buck one of these days.
It would be.
Maybe we will, like, in a week.
Okay.
Maybe. So
Bob Melvin. I'll put Bob Melvin in there.
I'd put Bob Melvin in there.
He's like the borderline, though.
He's in between.
Yeah.
But you're seeing a change. Dave Roberts has been around for a while.
Yeah.
So I understand having a veteran manager, but I think the other part here for the Orioles, they said Hyde's coming back, but they did not confirm the rest of their staff, right? So again, we'll discuss that and address that as we get closer into the situation. Ron Washington's another one. I just don't feel good about the Angels in general, so I don't really know exactly how to do. But we're talking about, when I'm saying old school managers, I'll take it back. Managers who you feel can put you over the top, right? So Terry Francona was one. Bruce Bochy, obviously they won the World Series last year with the Rangers. Then they just missed the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
So context being there, can it get you over the top? We'll talk about baseball extensively as we move into the offseason. We're going to have a lot of guests lined up in the offseason as well. Maybe some guys that you have known to love and admire, and maybe some names that are blasts from the past to talk about the game. Am I missing anything else right now?
I don't think so.
No? But before we get into our call-ins, I did want to properly talk about our Stuggy's Dog of the Week here, by the way.
Yes.
And it is Mr. Joe Flacco.
Flacco.
And Brad, what was that stat about Joe Flacco? What he's done since week 14 last year? 300-yard pass games.
Yeah, the most 300-yard pass games with 3 touchdowns since week 14 last year, and he didn't start, the first 4 games of this year?
Mm-hmm.
So, guy's still just absolutely slinging it.
Joe Flacco, man. He's
Elite,
got the dog.
if you will.
Elite, if you will. He's got the dog in him. And by the way, Stuggy's has just regular crab mac and cheese now at the stadiums.
Love that.
Stop traffic there. I know, Kevin.
I need to get in on that.
And there's no corn dogs there.
Well,
sorry.
You know what? We could. I can't wait for the 24-hour stream so that I can do the 18 corn dog 9 gin and tonic challenge.
I'm getting nauseous.
I love how
about it.
he's added the 9 gin and tonics to this.
Absolutely ready. Can't wait.
That is.
You are way too small for that.
That's what I'm telling him.
I'm going to defy the odds. I'm going to defy the odds.
He swears he's making this. No, not happening.
And also, by the way, to finish the Joe Flacco conversation, I want to get the Joe Flacco video. We're not going to have time for today, maybe at the end. But Joe, similar situation here with Anthony Richardson. You know, Anthony got hurt. Now Joe's jumping in. And, you know, he was alluding to that Anthony wants to play. Just like when Joe hurt his hip, he felt like it was his team in Baltimore. And that led to the end of Joe in Baltimore and led to the rise of Lamar Jackson and this new version of the Ravens. So it was very interesting. But Joe Flacco, by the way, guys, through 2 games, and he was inserted into the game last week, so he didn't even start. 527 passing yards, 70% completion percentage, and 5 touchdowns.
Unbelievable.
In about a game and a half. How about that, Joe? Stuggy's dog of the week. We got to get him on to ask him about his dog.
Yeah.
Now, guys, this is what we love to do. Why don't we get to our call-ins?
Well,
shall we get in there?
No.
We
We're
lost
still,
one?
Yeah, we lost one.
We lost a guy?
Wasn't able to connect.
Of course, it's probably Joe, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, of course it is. Okay, he left. Maybe he's.
I kicked him out. Joe, come back if you get your shit figured out.
Figure it out here. And I guess while we're trying to figure it out, Kevin, and maybe this will give it time, but why don't you grab that globe?
Oh, yes. All right. This is what I live for. This is what I live for.
And we're going around the world with Kevin Ostreicher. You guys know the words. Spin that globe.
All right.
Now. Okay, just ignore my.
We are in the Indian Ocean. All right, one more time.
All right.
I think we spent more time in the ocean.
We have.
No, that was only the second ocean. We're now in the South Pacific Ocean. All right.
Talking shit. Now we just.
Now we're
still in the South Pacific Ocean.
How are you?
Christ, bro.
You talk to.
All right, Australia.
Hey.
Particularly
Australia.
Darwin, Australia.
Okay, well, why don't you look up some stats?
All right,
on
I need a redemption arc on my facts. So.
Well, why don't you look at that? Why relax here and think about what we got planned for this weekend? We got a lot planned for this weekend, Brad.
Yeah.
We got a lot. Big game, obviously. And I was just thinking about what our Deep Eddy vodka crush is going to be for the week. Are we wearing a tutu?
I mean, like I was thinking more like a peach tea.
Ooh.
Best tea.
Yeah, best tea.
We might have
vodka
to do
peach tea. I don't know if it's really a crush or not, but I'm open to whatever.
I'm open to it. You know what I'm also open to? I think I'm open to getting our call-in back in.
Yep. What's up, Joe?
Joe.
Got me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I'm kind of in the country today, so had to find.
Oh, you don't say.
Y'all see the top 25 come out today?
I'm assuming Arkansas did not make it.
No.
Yeah, Arkansas's not in it, are they?
No. That's a joke.
Where would you have them ranked?
I mean 24, 25. I'm not crazy.
Okay.
But they beat the number 4 team in the country. Super competitive with A&M.
Oh, okay.
Did we lose Joe again?
Thanks for your input.
No.
Is he back?
He is not back all the way. Oh, there we go.
There.
You got one more
We're
chance,
good?
Joe.
Yeah, we got one more shot until we leave you to the countryside.
Yeah, I get it. I would say 24 or 25. That
24,
Well,
25?
I mean, if you beat a number 4 team, you should be in the top 25.
Well, and especially at least looking at in the SEC and everything that's happening right now. And Arkansas is sitting at 4-2, so maybe it's just because of their 2 losses on the season.
Yeah.
That's the biggest reason why that they are not sitting in the top 25. You know, Texas A&M, that loss doesn't look as bad because the fact that A&M, didn't they just whoop up on Missouri? Am I losing my mind on that? So, hey, man, Joe, you might have a bone to pick with the AP, but I guess we'll figure out more in the future on what's going to happen. But we're rooting for the Hogs, man.
Yes, sir.
Ooh, Pig Suey, baby. Ooh, Pig Suey. Ooh, Pig Suey. Razorbacks.
Woo. There we go.
And one more quick thing. Did you see Tony and Gunner are on the list for the Hank Aaron Award?
Yeah, just announced.
Good for them. And that's – go ahead.
Do you think they have a chance of getting it with Judge and Soto on there?
Probably not.
No.
Yeah.
But
I would love to say, yep. Hey, you're telling me there's a chance. They have a chance, but I think it will go to one of those guys, to be honest. Just given the magnitude. You know what I mean? But it's good to be in contention. Both those guys had great years.
Yep. Thanks, Joe.
I gotta go back and sling these cans off this truck. So
yeah, get that.
We're gonna have to talk about those cans in a little bit. But see you, Joe.
Joe.
We love Joe. Joe is just out there, number one fan, number one hater of Rocco DeSangro.
Working his ass off.
He's working his ass off, man. All right, where are we rocking to next, Brad?
We're rocking with Rick. What's going on, Rick?
Rick.
Hey.
Look,
how do you do, fellow kids?
He knew he was coming on this show. He dressed the part and everything.
And he's got the good kid going, man. Hey, Rick, you're a good kid. How we doing? I know you're feeling all types of way after this past weekend.
Oh, you're not kidding. I'm pretty happy about the results, but it was stressful.
Oh, that's one way.
That's one way to describe it. I mean, the heart. I gotta say, it can't be good for the blood pressure.
Not at all. And I got a little aggravated with Harbaugh. I've always been a fan, but just going for it on fourth down and at your own 30, I have to question that.
That was a little scary.
If that hadn't worked out, they'd have run him out of town, tarred and feathered him.
Game would have been over.
Yeah, but luckily these types of birds, the Ravens, they got it done. Hey, so I mean, what's the positive? What's your takeaway from this game? I know there's a lot of things that happen.
A lot of positives. Lamar, probably the best I've ever seen look. He just keeps progressing. So that makes me real happy. I was kind of shocked they didn't go under center more, but it seemed like we were behind the whole game. I think we came back 3 times in the second half, being behind twice from 10 points. So that was really good to see. Defense, I'm still a little worried about that. So this week's going to be a big test against the Commanders.
Yeah, it's going to be a different style too. Honestly, guys, it's going to be a similar style to kind of the Ravens, like just in the sense of you got a really mobile quarterback, a guy that can sling it.
Yeah.
But their run game is something you really have to be careful of, and specifically the quarterback running the ball.
I'm intrigued this week to see how the Ravens play against Shane Daniels, solely because we talk about all the time what's this big advantage that Lamar Jackson and a guy like Jaden Daniels have. It's that defense can't prepare for a guy like you all week.
Yep. Right.
Well, now
they can.
The Ravens defense is practicing all week with Lamar. The Commanders defense is practicing all week with Jaden. You finally have 2 defenses that all week are preparing for that exact same style. So it's going to be interesting to see how the defenses do.
Nope, no putting Trey Lance out there. This is the real deal.
Yeah. You know what? I'm curious, Rick. Do you think that this game just feels like it's going to be a shootout? You think it's going to be, or do you think there's any chance that these offenses might be held in check?
I really do think it's going to be a shootout. First of all, I'm happy for the Commander fans. I know a lot of them are Oriole fans and friends of mine on Twitter. It's good to see them having some success. So that's cool. But
just
at the same time,
Jaden
is a rookie. So we'll see how he does in the big moment against a good team. I don't think there's anybody out there that's really dominant right now, but the Ravens are as close as anybody else. So, just like the Orioles, the Ravens, it's wide open out there. So I really think we got a good team. If we can slow down their passing game, they might throw us a pick or two. We'll just have to see how it plays out. But I can't wait to see it.
I can't wait either. I'm glad we have a sigh of relief, Rick. We won this game, and we're 3-2. You got a 2-game lead then on the teams like the Browns and the Bengals. You got a division win, and now the Steelers losing. feels pretty good right now to be a Baltimore fan. But Rick, you're on here for the first time. Are we going to have you be a routine caller on the Ryan Ripken Show?
I don't know. You guys might get tired of seeing. I mean, you do know I'm a long-time friend of the Ripken family.
Yep. Hey, you were one of the original two. You and Joe were one of the original 6 on the first show, Rick.
Very first show. I've been on every show just about when I could be. So I've had a lot of fun supporting you. You know, I was good friends with your uncle. So I feel a connection to you guys. It's really good, to see you doing so well. It's been a fun ride.
We appreciate it, Rick. Well, hey, unless you're tired of us, you better get your ass back on here. All right. Deal? Because I need some positivity, especially around the birds here, as we know on Twitter and X. It always stays positive, right?
Yeah.
It's toxic.
All right, thanks, Rick.
Rick. Appreciate you, man.
Right. Good to see you guys.
Good seeing
Appreciate you, Rick.
Good kid, Rick. Really is a good kid, man.
Baltimore sports Twitter, the happiest place on earth.
Yep, it really is.
It's like what, Disney World, the most magical place on earth. It's just it's just Orioles Twitter.
Never overreactions, peace and positivity. Just
I think my favorite part is everyone keeps a level head.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I think everyone is they take a step back and understand, when it's right to kind of get reactionary.
Yeah. Right. It's a great place. It's a great place. We like it on there. Hey, there's a lot of good people on there. We'll say I do feel like the 50 Cent gif a lot too, where I get a lot of FUs thrown to me. I'm like, why are you saying F me for? But hey, you know what?
I gotta say, Rick's got a hell of a background.
Yeah.
The backdrop, he's got weapons and trophies and all kinds of stuff going on back there. That was sick.
And Rick's got he loves the Baltimore sports, and also like I said, he's been one of the originals for the Ryan Ripken Show. And hopefully you guys, everyone listening, can continue to be a part of the Ryan Ripken Show. You hit that like and subscribe button.
All
Brad,
right.
who we got next?
We got just a bit outside joining us.
Oh, Jabo's back.
Yep.
How we doing?
What's up, fellas? Oh, doing well. Just like you guys said, my heart rate's coming down a little bit now. So doing good.
Yeah, I mean, so hey, you know what? I actually put that clip on of us talking yesterday on Twitter of saying, hey, it's a week-by-week league here, and truly saw a lot of upsets. Is there anything that surprised you, at least from this week, that you didn't expect?
Good. I mean, I don't know. The Vikings continue to surprise me. I know they're 5-0, and maybe I shouldn't be surprised, but Sam Darnold has just had this rejuvenation. Aaron Rodgers, maybe that's more Aaron Rodgers kind of falling off more than Darnold, but 5-0 is 5-0. So you are what your record says you are.
Yeah, no doubt about it there. And I think maybe you commented in the group I saw, or someone saying your record is what you said.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah,
record says you are.
That's the word. That's the phrase, Zach. So what's your takeaway for the Ravens here this week with the Ravens Bengals? What's on your mind, at least with that, besides that your heart rate and you might have had to close your eyes for half the game like I did?
Yeah, I think seeing Tucker hit that 56-yarder to tie and then to win it after the Henry run in overtime, I just think that signals to me, I think he's back. Is that safe to say he's back?
Oh, Tucker
back?
Oh, he never left, Jabo.
He never left, right?
But that's the thing with great players, right? Like that's my motto. Great players, they figure it out. And I think that a lot of people look at it with Jay Tuck and go, man, these numbers. Okay, yeah, his numbers, I get it. But let's be honest with ourselves here. How long has he been kicking in the NFL now? Since 2012?
Yeah, 12 years now.
Yep.
Wow, he's been here for 12 years.
And he
won the Super Bowl as a rookie,
He did, and double overtime moment in Denver. Makes that kick. How about the kick twice in Detroit? The one where he had 6 field goals with the Ravens won, and then obviously the record breaker. It just feels like every big moment Tuck has come through. And when he's had a bad moment, that Saints kick, if you guys remember, the extra point.
Oh, how can I forget?
The graphic jinx. He missed
it. Did he miss that? I remember sitting in my dorm room when he missed that and some things were said. That got the RAs called to my room.
Oh, I was right.
Did you actually?
Yeah. I thought Justin Tucker was missing that extra point?
I didn't think you. No, I have multiple people who are Saints
I was-
fans that still don't let me.
I was actually at that game.
I was there too.
I was in the end
Oh,
zone
man.
of the missed extra point. I was also, hey, listen, that was also Lamar Jackson's first touchdown.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
It was
electric.
also in my end zone.
Hell
which is
yeah.
great. So,
All right.
but I mean, last time I got to see Drew Brees play, it was a good.
And that was
Other than the heartbreak, it was a great game.
And that was the last game Joe Flacco started as a Baltimore Raven.
Yep.
A lot of emotions, but the point being here, let's get out of those moments. Wow, flashback. It was Justin Tucker bounced back after that. I think that's where I wanted to go with it. So I'm excited. I'm happy. The boys are over 500, and it's a way different outlook now, week to week. Baltimore now is
first place.
Any other things before we let you go, Jabbo?
Yeah, just real quick, and then I'll hang up and listen to you off the air. I don't know if you saw, but DraftKings now has the Ravens as the odds-on favorite to trade for Devonte Adams.
Edgar Allan Poe.
Hey, Jabbo, appreciate you. And oh man,
listen. Vegas knows what the hell they're talking about.
They do, but it just
I don't know if I really want to see it happen. To be honest with you,
I kind of do, but because it'd just be like you have Devonte, Derrick Henry, Lamar. But I do think they do have great pieces. But can you imagine having Devonte?
No. So Bill Belichick was on Pat McAfee show talking about this and had mentioned that there are insiders that are reporting that the Raiders want second-round pick for Devonte Adams, the 30-year-old wide receiver. Look, he still is an elite wide receiver, but he still is 30 years old. You have to ask yourself if Eric DeCosta is a guy that would be willing to give up a second-round pick for somebody like Devonte. We did see him do it with Roquan Smith. But Roquan Smith is far younger and at the time was the best linebacker in the league.
Well, and you saw the trajectory of where with Roquan, at least the age and what you expected over the next 5 years, 4 years. Devonte, it's
realistically
what's the next 2 years?
Yeah, realistically, I think it's going to be a third, fourth rounder, what have you. Plus, I think that the Raiders are going to have to absorb some of that contract because there aren't very many teams in the rest of the league that have the cap space to be able to take on Devonte Adams' contract either. That includes the Jets and the Saints, which apparently are favored to also go. He's also to go to. They have interest.
Yeah, and I just don't know what's going to happen with the Jets. Just seem like they got more issues than just getting Devonte Adams. And if he goes there, that obviously there's I believe in Aaron Rodgers and Devonte Adams. I just don't believe in the Jets.
No,
I just don't believe in what's happening there. New Orleans familiarity as well. Like
Derek Carr's boy.
Derek Carr's boy. Their offense. I like surprisingly. I like the Saints this year.
Yeah.
And that's a wide open division. He can help them out. I guess the NFC. I mean, the Vikings are the favorite, but everyone else is dropped off. I don't know. I think if the Ravens are to get him, they're going to have to wait for the weeks to go by because doesn't the cap hit go down? If I'm not mistaken,
I believe so. Yes.
It keeps dropping.
Yeah. Every week.
Every week it drops. So for that, I think it's going to have to be something that goes right up to the deadline. And the deadline is
about a month or so away.
Woo, sugar. Oh, baby. Well, I guess we'll see if Vegas is right, Brad. What we got next?
Next up, we got K-Mac in the house. What's up, K-Mac?
K-Mac, what you doing?
It's the first time getting to join the show, so I'm excited to be here with you guys. I appreciate being on. So,
hey, thanks for joining us. What you got on your mind?
I know you guys kind of talked about players that were able to turn it around a little bit with the game yesterday. Justin Tucker, obviously, you feel great for him. You heard some of what he talked about in post game, where that performance he was able to get kind of the monkey off his back in terms of hitting that 50+ yarder, hitting the game winner. I'm in the middle of writing a piece for Russell Street Report. Got to plug my guys, but kind of talking about some of these guys that had games yesterday where you get to see them kind of turn around or you feel good for him. How about Rashod Bateman yesterday? 4 catches, 50+ yards and a touchdown, and came up big in overtime, had that third down conversion, and obviously didn't end up being the thing that cemented the game. But in that moment when he had to have it, he had it. Had the nice touchdown, beautiful route to the corner of the end zone. And you just love to see the confidence kind of come back in a guy like that. Beyond that, I mean, some of these guys that don't get the larger roles, Charlie Kohler had a great game yesterday. Tavius Robinson had the sack that killed a drive yesterday. because all it took was Joe Burrow hesitating for a minute. Tavius Robinson's on him like that. So it's great to see in a game where you have to have guys step up in those moments, that they were the ones that lined up and had those big moments. So it was really cool. But I mean, really, again, just to see those guys turn it around. I think the emotion of those moments where they can kind of turn it around and get set right, it means a lot. And I think it means more than what we realize from the outside of the locker room looking in. But yeah, to hear the dialogue around it, man, it's just awesome. It's great to see them turn around like that.
Well, and K-Mac, appreciate that. I mean, you're exactly right, where I always think your stars are the ones that you look to make the big play. So Lamar Jackson, everyone looks to him making the big play. You look to your superstars to get the job done, but it's the sum of your parts.
Mm-hmm.
And the Ravens have a lot of really good players. And you mentioned it. Bateman yesterday, and Bateman overall, that's the reason why he was extended.
Each week, it seems like Bateman's making another big time play for this team. It just feels like each week it's another extra play here and there. So yeah, I think you nailed it there, K-Mac. That's the guy that really, if I'm looking at the whole, you could bring up Kolar, but it does. Bateman's that guy that you need to step up and be that number 2. And recently he's been playing like it.
He has the tight ends then, Kev. I mean, for the Ravens to win more games like this, and they talk about Josh Allen playing Superman all the time, and we know Lamar is capable of doing that. But if you have other players step up like we saw on Sunday, not obviously a close game, but that's a difference of you winning this game and losing. And again, Tucker and Lamar are the heroes at this point. But yeah.
Yeah, glad you brought up Bateman, K-Mac, because I hammered this point home all yesterday, especially on the post-game show I did for Locked On Ravens. I mean, I thought this was one of the better games of his career, if not one of the best, because the big moments, you mentioned it, like you needed every single play in this game to beat Cincinnati. There was not one play that the Ravens could not have in this game. And so these other players, Zay was awesome. We know Zay can be awesome. We know Zay's that guy. But I love the Lamar spreading the ball around, because before it was just, all right, well, Mark's down there somewhere. Let's just toss that thing up and see what happens. But 9 different receivers Lamar was able to connect with on Sunday, and I think Rashod had some of the biggest plays of the entire game.
Oh, he was great. Hey, K-Mac, before I let you go then, any other things on your mind besides being busy with the Russell Street Report?
Honestly, just the separation stats week to week for Bateman. When you continue to look at, like, if he continues to trend upward during the season, look at how well he separates, because that's been the thing that everybody's kind of focused on from year to year. Like, the separation's been there. It's just that the chemistry hasn't. Look for that timing, because if he looks that good for the next couple of weeks, it's building that chemistry with Lamar. I think that's going to be a huge thing down the stretch.
Oh, man, don't get me too excited. You're getting me too hyped up in here, K-Mac, about what can be, and especially you add another element, a consistent element that Lamar trusts to this offense that already going into this game was a number 1 offense ranked by yardage, right? Yeah. You add another weapon that you know is capable and is a dog in my mind. I think Bateman can be that. Woo! Well, hey, K-Mac, was it painful? Did Kevin scare you away, or would you come back on?
Well, you know, it's that one Kevin to another kind of love, so it's okay. We gravitate toward each other.
Yep, that's exactly right. Best name in the world. Love it. Let's go.
You're a good kid, Kev. Don't let them bully you.
Appreciate you, Kev. Let's go. See, Kev to Kev action right there.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
All right.
Kevin, get out of here.
Hey, K-Mac, appreciate you, man. Have a great rest of your day. And go check out what he's doing over there at Russell Street Report as well. And K-Mac, I love that. This is why we're having the call-ins, right? We got a lot of people that are invested in the teams and teams that you love specifically. So we'll keep on going with the call-ins. I think we got a couple call-ins still left to go.
Yeah, next up we got Laura coming back. What's up?
How's it going? Laura, how we doing?
Hey,
I honestly just called in because some people in the Discord wanted to make sure they saw my happy, shiny face again before it got blown away in the hurricane.
Hey, are you going to be safe?
I'm going to be safe. I'm waiting on my daughter because I let her go put gas in the car, and we're rolling out.
Good.
All right.
Good. I mean, I couldn't believe it. It was just apparently tropical storm like 27 hours ago.
Yeah.
And now it's category.
And now it's a Cat 5 out there somewhere.
Goodness gracious.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And Tampa Bay has already evacuated. They're going to be playing their game in New Orleans next week. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts of what's happening.
Laura, I want to ask you, did you make any money this weekend?
I did not.
Oh,
not this weekend.
No, JMU.
Mama did not choose well.
No JMU.
Oh, Mama. Come on, Mama. We need it. We need it.
Next week, though. Next week. I'll call you guys next week and I'll let you know what I do.
There we go.
But I mean, the only other thing I really had was that I'm really happy to see that Justin Tucker is back, because that means I can put him back in my lineups for fantasy football.
Yes.
Should have never taken him out, Laura. Come on now.
I've been rolling with Young Wei Koo. And Koo has not been bad.
Hey,
he's been on a little bit of a bender. He ruined my my fantasy the other week facing him.
Yeah.
He had 15, I think, the other night.
Yeah.
Too. Gosh.
Yeah.
That's after missing one.
Yeah. He had a block and a miss.
Yeah.
And he did.
And I think he still wound up giving me like 15 or 20 points, something ridiculous. So
yeah, I think you beat the crap out of Joe in our Holy Shirts and Pants League, right?
Pretty sure I did.
Yeah. But sorry, man.
Yeah, but other than that, I just wanted to pop in and say hi and say hello, and and the next time I talk to you, which I guess will probably be on Thursday, I'll probably be in somewhere, but I won't be here in Tampa. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, please don't be in Tampa, and please just be safe.
Yeah.
Wherever you're going, get out
Yeah.
there, drive safe, be safe, take care of yourself. If you need anything, to reach out to the community, and we'll try to help you out. All right.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Thanks, Laura.
We appreciate you,
Laura.
Laura. She's fantastic. We got a great community.
awesome.
We
Oh,
really
yeah.
do.
Oh, yeah.
We really do.
Laura's great. All right, we got next up. We got Steve in the house. What's up, Steve?
What's going on, gentlemen?
Steve, how we feeling on this Monday?
Needless to say, the blood pressure was through the roof yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. How was it when Lamar fumbled and they recovered in overtime?
I just got flashbacks.
I know.
Let me just say, my heart went to my stomach when Lamar fumbled in overtime. I'm thinking to myself, what in the world? We're losing this game.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as McPherson missed that kick, no thanks to a rookie punter, I was thinking, we'll see. Henry bust that 51-yard run. I'm like, oh boy, Tucker's gonna win it, isn't he?
Damn right he did. And how about it was just honestly, it just felt it had to be the moment. And I really thought for a split second before McPherson kicked, I'm like, you know what? Not everyone can kick it from that deep, in the big moments. But also, the punter dropping the ball, man, like that throws off the cadence of it.
Who, by the way, is the best punter in the league right now? Is an undrafted free agent or undrafted rookie, came in and then lit the world on fire as far as special teams is concerned. Best punter in the league up to week 5, and then, the lack of experience showed its ugly head yesterday.
Oh, it certainly did. But you know what also is beautiful? You might have, quote unquote, contained Derrick Henry. Maybe the Ravens threw the ball more because of the looks the Bengals were giving, falling behind. Well, guess what? Put Derrick Henry or put Lamar under center, do a little pitch, let Ricard get out there in motion, and let Derrick Henry just put the game to rest. And man, that just felt so damn good to have a finisher like that on that play, finishing play. And then Baltimore to walk out of there. So what's your take then moving forward here? You feeling good? Ravens are now atop the division with Pittsburgh.
I mean, thanks to the Cowboys last night, which I absolutely loved.
We love Dallas. Yeah. We love Dallas today.
I'm going to say this about the Commanders game on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I think Daniels and Lamar are going to put on a show for the ages.
Yeah.
But in the end, I think those 3 tight ends, Kohler, Andrews, and Likely, are going to ball out. And I think the Ravens end up taking the W.
Hell yeah. You know what? For a second there, Steve, I thought you were going to be like, and the Commanders are going to find a way to win. I'd be like, whoa, Steve. But I do think that the Ravens, or it's fair to say, Kev, you think the Ravens have one of the best tight end groups in all of the league?
I think it's the best.
It's got to be, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Got the best long snapper in the league. We know that.
Pro Bowler.
Pro Bowler.
Future
Pro Bowler. Best kicker. Best quarterback in the NFL. Steve, there's no better quarterback in the NFL right now than Lamar Jackson. Is that fair?
Oh, that's 100% fair. And I want to show love to the big boy, Pat Ricard.
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
on the 51-yarder in overtime was as soon as he laid that block, I'm like, Henry's either scoring or he's getting Tucker into field goal range.
Oh, yeah.
That was beautiful. Pancake Pat, man. That's a lot of muscle in the backfield.
And an appropriate nickname for him, too.
Yeah, dude. Pancake Pat. Unbelievable. Steve, we're feeling good. We're glad. Now we got a few recurring. Steve, you must be a recurring caller. Is that cool?
It's the rules.
100%. Oh, and by the way, Kevin.
I'm listening.
I'm in that ESPN league you set up.
Oh, I'm trying to get Derrick Henry from you, right? Or I have been.
Guess what? You ain't getting them. No.
Man, I'm in so many ESPN leagues. I can't keep track anymore. I don't even know.
Out of curiosity, before I hang up, Kevin, when is our matchup in that league?
Can you tell me what the league is called? I can find out if you do.
Kevin has to search through his 9.
I have 22 leagues.
Jesus.
I think it's KOR or LOR 2024.
Okay, all right. I'm looking now.
What are the other leagues called?
It's Locked On Ravens Fantasy 2024, Fantasy Locked On Ravens 24, all this stuff. Yep. All right, Steve, I see it. Let me look. We are week 9, so still about a month or so to go.
And who did the Ravens play that week?
Let me check. Denver.
Dude, Denver's got.
I'm sorry. Henry's torching the Broncos that day.
And I see you have Zay too. So man, yeah, you might have me. You might have me this week. Plus, I got Jordan Mason on a bye. If obviously McCaffrey's not back. So
I heard McCaffrey could be back week 7.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Ryan feels a certain way about
I don't
McCaffrey.
believe that for a second.
All right, Steve, appreciate you. Kevin, you suck. Just kidding, Steve.
Yeah,
appreciate
thanks.
you. We'll see you.
Appreciate you, Steve.
We'll see you next time for the call in, Steve. We always appreciate you joining us.
All right.
That's
it.
That's all the call-ins. And guys, we're going to keep doing that every show. We're going to have call-ins. We want to hear from you guys. So every time we put it out there, come on and join. We got a great community. You know what I love too is these people, everyone's invested, right? Yeah. Like people are invested for different reasons. One, you might be locked into specific analytics of the team. 2, you could be also a huge fan, but you're also just a huge supporter like Laura, where I love it. She calls herself Mama. Yeah. Mama's got us some memberships the other week.
Yep.
We got a lot of great people here, and Steve obviously being entrenched with it. So for all of our callers out there, Joe, Jabo, Rick as well, appreciate you guys. Am I missing anything else besides I'm going to sink this putt and then walk on out here? And then Kevin's got to give the facts.
No. I got to give the facts, but I challenge you to Gridiron Golf.
Ooh. Real fast.
Because I'm 1-1.
All right. Did want to talk about it. We talked about it briefly just on us. I know we talked about it with Steve for a second, but that final Derrick Henry run, I know I've been seeing people online talking about it was a bad Derrick Henry game. Like, okay, the Ravens were supposed to run for 500, and it took until the last drive, that last play, to really break something open. Listen, Derrick Henry is the model of he is going to just wear you down until it breaks. And the way I look at it is how many games did we as Baltimore Ravens fans play Derrick Henry? And going into the fourth quarter, we were sitting there going, dude only has 30 yards. Okay. Yeah. We dominated. We stopped him. And then he hit a big back-breaking run to absolutely end it. So I'm just glad we're on this side of it instead of watching him. I mean, we saw it in overtime a few years ago. Held him all game. Gets the ball first time in overtime, 60 yards to the house. See you later. He's just always one run away every single time.
And it used to be, can't keep getting away with this against us. Now it's like, no. Keep going. Kevin, do you want to list your facts of Australia, or do you want me to take you?
Let's do some facts warm up. I think I have mastered the art of facts that may or may not include wildlife, but not right now.
Oh, Jesus.
First, the Australian Alps actually get more snow than the Swiss Alps.
Okay.
All right. That's a good one.
Cool
90% of Australians live on the coast because in the middle of the continent, it is actually uninhabitable for humans.
Just
it's
the desert.
Just desert out there. Tasmania has the cleanest air in the world.
Oh,
okay. You see, these are the facts.
This is what we've been.
It only took us Hey, you know
It took
what?
us like a month.
And Kevin, we were going through this real quick. Actually, finish your facts, and then I'll say what I was going to say.
The Great Barrier Reef is the largest ecosystem in the entire world.
That's nice. I actually peed in the Great Barrier Reef.
That's ripped after dark.
I did.
Or no, go ahead. What you gonna say?
I was gonna say the captain of the boat then said, "Oh, look, it's Finding Wemo."
Oh my god, that is crazy. Wow.
I thought. Well, never mind. We'll save that for Rip After Dark.
We'll save it for Rip After Dark. Keep going.
Let's see. Australia has over 60 separate wine regions. So they're very big on wine over
Who
there.
knew? I didn't
Majority in New South Wales.
Kevin,
and
these are the
Victoria.
facts that we need.
I know. I feel good about these facts. Fraser Island is the largest sand island in the world. The Indian Pacific Train has the longest straight section, so just straight train track in the world. The Great Ocean Road is the world's largest war memorial, and that's one of the most famous drives in Australia.
Okay.
80% of the animals there are unique to Australia. I had to throw in the wildlife fact.
There you go.
That's the staple. I thought that was a good one, though.
That is a great one.
Obviously, kangaroos are there. Koalas.
Wallaby.
Yep. And then
the dingo.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that one. And finally, 2.5 kilometers of Uluru is underground. That's a rock. It's a big rock.
It's a big rock.
That is 2.5 kilometers of it are just straight underground.
Okay.
So
Hey, 9 of the 10 deadliest snakes are in Australia.
they have some crazy wildlife out there.
Kangaroos. Yeah, dude.
Good eye, mate.
Good eye, mate.
Good eye, mate.
Let's take a walk about. Also, for people who are wondering, the Great Barrier Reef, I was a kid. This wasn't like I was just 2 years ago.
Not 2 months ago.
Yeah. But you know what? Yeah, I guess I left my mark as a child there.
You did.
And
Australia will always have a party.
Australia.
Australia.
Nice.
Hey, you know what? And also, this is the clip that's going out, Brad. We've had 5 globe reads now.
Yep.
5 spin the globes. Can you name all 5?
Can I name them?
Yes.
Australia.
Hey.
China was one. We did China.
China.
I know one of them just because
Senegal was another.
Okay.
Oh,
I
I would
remember
not have
Senegal.
gotten that
What
one.
was the other one?
What was the one? Because we did one last week, and
You
I
got to
got.
think of the one that you brought up, the alpacas and stuff.
Yeah, I was just about to
I remember that moment. Can I use the globe, or do I have to do it without the globe?
Yeah, do it.
Every country's on
It's
there. So if you want to look for
It's
it,
Ivory
on there.
Coast.
Ivory Coast.
It's actually 6.
Were there 6?
Yeah.
Because they also do
All right, I don't know. I'm out. I don't know. Morocco.
And then you did South Africa.
Oh yeah.
I did. So
there's
6. Yep.
So here's this for all of our this is it, Brad. It's going out tomorrow, and if we don't like it,
Thank God.
it's going out tomorrow. We have 6 spin around the globe. It's going out on social media. You need to name 3 to us to be entered in to win the Deep Eddy giveaway.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. And the Deep Eddy giveaway is
I think we got the hats, we got the fanny packs, we got the water bottle. The water bottle is the biggest thing right there. That thing is money.
We
I cannot
use it every day.
When we cannot send alcohol through the Airstreams, I'll just have to come to the Ryan Ripken studio for an experience. But 3 of the 6 countries that Kevin has gone around the world for, that's all we need for you to have a chance to enter and win. And we'll announce it at the end of the week. Actually, we'll announce it on next Sunday's show. That's what we're going to do. So, hey, now, Kevin, let me go beat your ass.
All right, let's
in
do this.
Gridiron Golf.
I wish we had do we have the clip of last week, or did we not clip it up?
No, you know what? Actually,
you're
stuff to say before the show, not when we're doing.
Well, I
the
just thought of it
segment.
right now, but Ryan's PR team moves in silence, so it's not available on the internet.
Laura, you have to tweet out the last 3 of the 6 locations that Kevin found on.
We'll put the clip out.
And it'll be on Twitter. You'll be entering in on Twitter. There you have it. Thanks for asking.
All right, Zach, we're going to need some incredible play-by-play again this week.
That's what I do. Welcome back to the course. Hello, friends.
The court.
I said the course.
Oh, I think you said the court.
The course. The course.
Oh,
Beautiful.
you're getting
day
loose
today.
early?
What do you mean early? You're about to go.
Well, it's a pregame warm-up.
Kevin, go over there and start putting.
You're going first.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing. This is going to be very much like putt because that pup right there is going to try to eat each one of those golf balls.
Yeah, this is.
Oh, that was a jump. Can you sit? Can you fall? Can you take a fall? Another fall. Another fall. Another fall. Go kill Kevin.
Oh my God.
Yeah, baby. All right. Let's do it. Kevin, you want me to go first? Yeah, you go first.
Kevin.
Ollie, place.
Ryan's going first.
Sit. Yeah, you're right in the middle.
Right in the middle of the shot.
Ollie, actually.
Jeez, studio puffs.
Place. Sit.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Just working it out.
What are we betting?
Was there a bet here?
What's an exercise where we're staying fit on the gridiron?
A minute long plank.
A minute long. Oh, that's easy. Yeah,
There we go. Oh,
Oh, no. It's a minute. All right, here we go. No, sit.
I told you this is going to be a problem.
Stay.
Ollie's not going to have it. Oh, that was a terrible shot.
I really thought that was it.
As he goes 0 for 2 to start, he lines up his third shot. Clearly, this can't be worse than the first two.
Shit.
And the shot.
Best Australian actor.
There it is.
Best Australian actor, Adit, is Hugh Jackman, and it's not even close.
There it is. On the third try, he gets it in. He's going for.
Total points. Total points for 4 shots.
There's been a rule change on the last minute. They're now going total shots made in the 4 attempts. Guess we can just do that now. Still we have a streaker on the field. Security is dealing with that. Shot 4-4 for Ryan Ripken. Nowhere close.
So terrible.
Am I left?
Nicole Kidman. No, I mean, yes, she is an Australian actress. She's not the best Australian actor. Hell
All
no.
right, Kevin. Kevin needs 1 to tie, 2 to win.
Crocodile Dundee is definitely up there, but no, Hugh Jackman's 1000%. And if you're gonna go with a second, it's got to be Chris Hemsworth. I mean, it's got to be
We
Thor.
should have betting lines next time. Sit. Stay. Do you think he can make the putt? I don't know.
Oh,
First one, not even close.
Actually, it was closer than Rips.
Here we go. Shot number 2. You might just want to have to clear that one out.
Yeah.
Like, just use one to maybe hit.
Unless you want to do a Zach shot.
He doesn't want to take my advice. Beautiful.
Quarter of the end zone.
Must hit both to win. One of them to tie.
I can't believe there's still 70 people watching this bullshit.
Here we go.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
even close. So here it is. The pressure's on.
Can we get some noise from the crowd? Can we get some noise?
The crowd's going nuts.
In the chat?
Where else would you rather be?
You can. This is why we take it to the gridiron.
Yep, this is Kevin is now
Margot Robbie is fine.
0 for 4. 0 for 4. There's the plank.
Yeah. All right, Kevin, let's get the timer out. Can you get a good angle of him right there?
Oh yeah, we already got a good angle on him. All right, Kevin's got a plank.
I'll start the timer.
No, why would you do it with him? You won.
I don't know. I just want to stay fit.
All right, Kevin.
Do you know how to play?
All right, here we
Here we
go.
go.
If you feel like you need to correct my form, it's been a while.
I will.
Nick notes
good
says
right there?
boo.
Yep.
Oh yeah, we can see it just fine, Kev.
All right, Kevin, whenever you're ready. All right.
No, not ready. Now get your legs up.
3, 2. Okay, there we
1, go. Here we go, Ollie.
Holly getting horny.
Ollie's like, let's go.
Come here. I know.
Okay, already 10 seconds in. Like, this is flying by, Kevin. This is like the quickest minute of your life.
Hey, good
Laura, how tall is Kevin? Kevin is 5'3"
at best.
Cheating. It's cheating.
26 seconds in, Kevin.
Come here. Come on,
Kevin's 30 seconds. You're halfway there.
A minute left.
I don't know if you can tell on the stream. Kevin is shaking. His entire body. Like, I think this floor is about to shake. His back legs are giving out.
Come on,
the
Kevin.
back legs are so
Come on,
going.
Kevin.
You have
Almost
13,
there.
12
You
seconds,
got
Kevin.
10
seconds, Kevin. You got it, Kevin.
Come on, Kevin.
5 seconds, Kevin. 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Fire me up, Kevin.
Come here. Good boy. Hey, that was good.
Yeah.
Bam, baby. Bam.
Really good. Really good. Pow. 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 Hey, you know what? That I think what I love of the Gridiron Golf is like we're just trying to stay active, right?
Yeah.
Stay fit.
It's a workout.
We're
It's
doing
a
our
workout.
putts, and then we're doing, now we've done squats, burpees, and plank. How you feeling after that?
Feeling good. I started shaking like 10 seconds in, but it didn't feel as bad as it looked like it felt for me. It looked like I was struggling.
You know what we're building up to for you? We're gonna be building up to do the 5 minutes total. So it's a minute straight on, 45 on one side, 45 on the other, then back to the top.
What do you mean one side or the other? Like
side planks.
Oh, so okay.
So you do 5 minutes total, minute straight up, 45 on one side, 45 on the other, then back to straight up, 45, 45. So it's 2 minutes and 30 seconds for one round.
Man,
There you
we definitely got to build up to that.
Well, that's what I do. That's what I do for warm ups.
Shout out to the 72 people that are watching and watched all that bullshit.
But that's why we do it, and that's why we love them and they love us. You know what I mean? We like to have fun here, right? We like to talk about sports and whatever else is going on, right?
Australia.
Australia.
Oh yeah.
Did you guys ever watch Kangaroo Jack?
Mm-hmm.
No, but
Let's talk about just
did watch Zaboomafoo growing up.
We were talking. Oh yeah, Zaboomafoo. I know that.
Yeah, classic.
While you guys were playing, we were talking about best Australian actors, and I said Hugh Jackman, and it's not even close.
Hugh's probably over time. Heath Ledger was an Australian actor, correct?
Yes.
Still the best Joker.
Chris
of all
Hemsworth
time.
is also.
Chris Hemsworth is up there,
but it's Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
It's Wolverine.
Good kids. Well, hey guys, we appreciate you. We should get on out of here, but we should do more of that. And for you guys, as always, we'll be back on Thursday. Hit that like and subscribe button on the way out. But here's my glasses. Cue the music. As always, here at the Ryan Ripken Show, we appreciate you all. Have a day, have a night. The Ravens are atop the AFC North. We'll be back for a brand new edition on Thursday. Join us again. Call-ins, all the activity. Be good to yourselves.
Peace.
Ollie. Ollie. Bum, bum, bum.